Have some fun tonight. Go get us a W. Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What the copy? Right foot down. We had to go plan. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. Kiss your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great. Ridiculous, man. Holy. You see that? Holy cow. Good job, man. Good job, baby. Yeah. Holy crap.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Darian Gilliam, aka Black Flags Matter, back for another edition of the famous NASCAR Weekly Podcast on BFM. Already have over 200 watching, and we just started. Make sure to click the like button. Really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. We have our usual panel consisting of Eric Estep, the famous Iceberg, and Danny B Talks. But gentlemen, let's get right into it. The famous hot take segment. Let me see who goes first. Oh yeah, Eric. Yes, Eric Estep. Yes, buddy, you go first. What is your hot take for this weekend?
Well, real quick, first and foremost, we have to acknowledge the TV star we have in the room. Congrats on that featured spot, Darian.
We didn't have to acknowledge.
I know.
Yeah, we did.
You didn't want to embarrass yourself, but I'm going to embarrass you for you. But congrats on that. That was a really cool segment. It was really awesome to see.
Thank you very much.
And that kind of segues into my hot take. That wasn't the only thing Fox did this weekend that I actually liked, that I actually appreciated. We give Fox a hard time, and a lot of time it's very much deserving. The way they stagger their commercial breaks was a headache early in the season. The broadcast booth has been very hit or miss, but there's a few changes this weekend that I wanted to spotlight because we complain about Fox every single week. I wanted to highlight some good things they did this week. For one, the new yellow and like green flag, tracker on the top. They've been doing this for a couple of weeks. I think that's actually a pretty cool change. And it came in handy during the Xfinity race when it was yellow. It really broke things down for you. The small cameras inside the driver's helmets, I do want to give them a shout out for that because they updated the blurred out dashboard. They've really improved on that throughout the year. And I think that's great. And lastly, the green light that they showed on the bottom of the screen on the final lap at a super speedway, in case a caution came out, the audience would know when the field was frozen. I do appreciate these fine details. There's still a lot of issues with Fox that they deserve to be criticized for, but I do want to highlight some of the good things they have done the past few weeks. Anyway, that's it. That's my hot take. Danny, how are you feeling on this fine Wednesday night?
My hot take for this week is actually directed to the man who wrecked trying to go for the win in the Xfinity race, Parker Kligerman. We saw him get over aggressive at Daytona back earlier this year and ultimately ended up ruining someone's day and I think it was Jeffrey Earnhardt. And then we saw that move at the end. Yeah, you're going to go for the win, but he was literally banging off Austin Hill and the other car in front of him. There was really no sense to do like that. But yet he ended up putting himself in a position that ultimately saw himself get spun out and continued to wreck other cars at the end of that race. I just think at this point, I've heard Parker Kligerman call out too many other drivers in the past to still be making this many mistakes for how long he's been in the sport at this point. Parker, I'm sorry, man. You got to improve a little bit when you're on these big tracks like that.
Well, my hot take is kind of going to be on the edge a little bit and a little different than what I usually do. I'm going to go with a hot take in the sense of a prediction. So I could be proven right within a week, or I could be proven very wrong. But I'm going to say this. With the fact that there will be no stages this weekend, in the sense of stage breaks, I think my hot take is that this race will end out or be in the last 5 laps a fuel mileage or strategy race. I think that a long, drawn-out road course like this that is so big and they get so spread out that it lends itself to, if not many cautions because single car spins or crashes or in general can be out of the way. It takes a lot to bring a caution out at Circuit of the Americas. And I think within the last 5 to maybe 6, 7, 10 laps, 10 laps is actually a lot. So I'll say 5 laps or so, we're going to have either a strategy race based on tire strategy, or we're going to have a fuel mileage race at the end of the race and somebody will run out of gas. One way or another, I think we're going to have a finish we're not used to seeing anymore, but something that is quintessentially a road course finish.
I think there's a better chance of fuel mileage than tires, just knowing COTA. But I I think it'd be a breath of fresh air if that happened, Jarrett. So I hope your hot take comes true, at least to some degree.
Me too.
Hey, good one, but I think I have the winner. You'll see why. Winner by unanimous decision and the new super speedway champion of the world, Austin, the real deal Hill. That's right. Amazing start to the season. He has already established himself not only as a proven championship contender thus far, in my opinion, but he is now officially the new super speedway king of the world. This guy is going to be a nuisance once he gets in a full-time cup opportunity on the super speedways. So much of a nuisance that I firmly believe he will become a much better super speedway racer than Dale Earnhardt Jr. ever thought about being in his Cup Series career. And I'm not done yet. And I will even go as far as to say I wouldn't be surprised if he someday scratches the surface of the late, great Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s super speedway records. That's right, Austin, the real deal, super speedway champion Hill.
And he's going to take over the 3 car, right?
Hey, why not? Why not, man?
You're going
to break his records. Might as well.
I'm going to urge the chat in voting to see through the BS of these politics here.
The poll is up.
This politicking for it.
I was fully prepared to say Danny had the hottest take because I didn't think that wreck was all on Kligerman. I thought Daniel Hemrick was in an awkward spot as well. But no, I think Darian. I mean, he's won 3 races this year already, both super speedways. Austin Hill's a great plate racer, but man.
Hey, remember the races he won last year, though? Also some more super speedway.
By the way, I told this in the chat. Mine's more bait than it is anything.
Okay.
But anyways, hey, we got over 300 watching. Thank you so much. Click the like button, everybody. But while you guys vote on the poll on who had the hottest take, already have a clear-cut winner, I believe.
Really?
Austin Hill will be the next Dale Senior. What a take!
I can't wait for it to be used out of context.
Watching 2040.
That's not even out of context. That's what you just said.
Watching 2040, this man will actually have like 5 cup championships and like 80 wins. And Darian's joke take is the greatest prediction ever.
But remember, I said he would be a better super speedway racer. I didn't talk about.
He said nothing about championship.
Yeah.
How many wins? How many wins did Senior end up with at super speedways? It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous alone.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It's like 18 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, something crazy, especially at freaking Daytona. Oh man, but hey, it's a hot take for a reason.
Sorry, Milton Valenzuela said Darian looks like he escaped NASCAR jail with that hoodie on.
Oh gosh, yeah. I was supposed to wear this at the Tennessee Vols game, but it's not the bright shaded orange, so my bad.
That's like Hunter Orange.
I look like the character from South Park, right? What's his name?
Kenny.
Kitty. Yes, I look like Kitty. Yes, I did. But anyways, it is cold, so that's why I'm wearing this, and I don't want to have my heating bill go up. But anyways, let's get right into it. Atlanta happened. Me and Danny, we were at the racetrack.
We were at cold Atlanta, not hot Atlanta. Cold Atlanta.
Yeah, it was cold. Oh my gosh, that was one of the coldest race weekends I've ever been to.
You asking any good questions there, Darian?
Excuse me?
You asking any good questions out there?
Tell us about the questions you asked.
Oh gosh,
Talk to us about the questions you asked.
We can just jump into the race. We can jump into the race. We'll jump into the race. How about that?
I know what y'all
doing. In front of traffic.
Oh man, but let's start off. I mean,
if you know, you know.
Darian's sitting there, wide eyes, looking like old Mittens, the NASCAR cat at the moment, thrown out in traffic.
Real ones know what I'm talking about. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyways, hey, the Atlanta race happened for the Cup Series, 5th race of the season. Joey Logano finally wins, not only for the first time at Atlanta Super Speedway, but for the first time in a non-Pennzoil sponsored car at Team Penske. This is crazy. I didn't know that. I was like, wow, all these sponsors he's had over the years, and he didn't win a single race. That's pretty cool. And then Brad Keselowski, man, he looks like that team they're on the comeback trail. It looks like he's looking very fast. Eric, I'm going to start off with you though. What were your thoughts on the Atlanta race?
I thought you were wearing the orange in honor of Brad Keselowski's nearly heroic run in that orange Ford Mustang. No, I agree with you. Brad Keselowski to me was the show in those closing laps. The first half of this race, certainly stage 2 was very dry, not a lot going on, very single file, very, very unsteady on that inside lane. So everyone kind of just rode the middle, rode the top. But those last, I don't remember how many laps there. I think it was about 44 laps of the race, ran clean and green, very competitive, 2 lanes, sometimes 3 lanes. And Brad Keselowski with his spotter, TJ Majors, were putting on a clinic up front, blocking both lanes. It looked like Talladega out there, where you typically have the space to move from top to bottom, the stability to change lanes middle of the corner. They were doing this at Atlanta, where all weekend long we saw cars, trucks spinning out all by themselves. The Cup cars certainly looked a little more planted than the Xfinity cars did the day before, but we saw a couple of Cup cars spin out in qualifying. So they still weren't, they were on edge. And Brad Keselowski blocking the field, running so well out by himself. That's the thing that stood out to me, is he had 3 Penske Fords lined up on the inside and 3 Toyotas lined up on the outside. He's out there with no teammate help, leading all those laps, contending until the very last lap. I know he didn't pull off the final block. It looked like he had Logano stopped, and then it kind of just didn't commit to the top, and Logano got outside of him. But until that moment, Brad Keselowski ran a phenomenal race. And congrats to Joey Logano. We'll talk about him, but Brad Keselowski stood out to me because he's had top 10 or top 5 speed at every race this year. He's currently, I think, 5th in the regular season points. Like, playoffs now seem very attainable. He might win a race before the playoffs begin.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a matter of if, to me at this point. It's a matter of when. Just him and that 17 before he was involved in the massive big one there. But Danny, what were your thoughts there? We were actually there this weekend.
Yeah, overall, I mean, I think it produced about the same show that we were expecting after last year. Definitely the Cup guys cleaned it up a lot more than the Xfinity Series, that's for sure. And overall, I didn't get a chance to talk to as many of the fans who were in the stands at this one, but I know last year the overall vibe was that a lot of people who have been going to Atlanta in recent years enjoyed the super speedway style show. I would assume there's still probably a really good amount of people who went that did enjoy the race. So at first we were kind of worried about how the crowd was looking, but me and Darian both noticed after national anthem, things filled in a little bit. We was like, okay, crowd's actually not that bad. There was a lot more people. Strangely, there was a lot of people out of turn 4 than there was going into turn 1. I think maybe they expected more to happen coming out of turn 4. Maybe just more people showed up in that area. I don't know. But overall, I felt like it was still, for the experiment of Atlanta Super Speedway, I think it's still, there's some positive to be taken from it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's a success. You're going to commit.
Success.
No. There's some positives to be taken from it.
Okay.
Some positives and definitely some negatives. Jarrett?
I think of everyone on here, I'm probably the more pessimist when it comes to this. I'll say I liked it better for the fact that it wasn't a complete wreck fest, other than like that 12-lap span where it was like wreck real quick, and it wasn't the Xfinity race. Anything other than the Xfinity race would make me happy. I appreciated the fact that the last 40 laps, I think they went without any cautions, pretty clean racing. I mean, it shows what happened. To me, what it proved, it is not a car issue. It's been a driver issue, because the driver etiquette up front was I thought was awesome between Logano and Keselowski. No one made too stupid of a move. It seemed like that when Keselowski would go up and down the track to block, or Logano would do it, the field and those drafting with them trusted them to do it. So I enjoyed that. And honestly, before they went to all the overtimes, that's how Daytona for the most part was. It's how Talladega at the end of last year was. So it seemed like the drivers didn't make as crazy a moves, even if they had the runs. I will say though, just because I like this one more than the races last year, though, does not mean I'm a huge fan of it. I'm more excited for what I think Atlanta is going to turn into because this track wore out a lot year over year.
And let's talk about that really quick, because I remember William Byron, after his race was done, he was saying in his post-race interviews that this track surface really felt weird this year, because not only was it aging rapidly, but also there was a lot of dust, which really affected the lane choices. So like you didn't have as much grip in certain lanes, but then as the race went on, that certainly changed. But for the most part, though, it felt extremely weird. But the racing, though, towards the end was spectacular, though. Like 20 to 25 laps, they were gridlocked as well. So obviously, like I guess the surface was a lot better towards the end. But no, for the most part, it was weird. I mean, Jarrett, you did a video on this too, I believe yesterday. I haven't had the chance to watch it, but just what, like, I don't know, like, what do you think the future holds for this track in the next decade or two?
So I'm not necessarily crazy yet about the racing just because it was gridlocked, but it seemed like it was very much to me more like they were both stuck. It was kind of just two trains to me. But what I think moving forward is when this track wears out more, unless they want to down the horsepower to be about the same as a 2013 Sonata, they can't keep doing super speedway racing the way that NASCAR probably wants it to be. What I am really interested in is if that high side keeps coming in and then the track wears out, you have all that banking, you'll probably have the draft still be a factor because of the speeds that they'll be able to do unrestricted. I think it's going to be like a hybrid of how the truck and Xfinity cars were at Michigan back in the day. And I think I said this last week too, but also a bit of Darlington involved too, where you have that top line that's dominant. You still can make moves. I'm more excited for that. I think that they should, in a couple years, when it's just going to be clear that the track would be too slow to, the cars would have to be too slow to be a super speedway package, that they take the spacers or whatever off, or at least the current spacers for the super speedways, and then put on the other ones. But I would be preferring that. Actually, if they get a new engine, they have more throttle control. I would definitely prefer that over this, because I think we'd see racing that's and a progression of a track that we have never seen before. We would never see a super speedway morph into something different before, which I think would make this track more interesting than any other.
For sure. Eric, what do you think?
It would make it interesting. My guess is if the track starts to wear out, there may be a point where this isn't possible, but I just think they'll make the plate bigger or smaller, whatever. They'll restrict the engines even more. That's just my guess, is eventually they'll go full 2018 All-Star race or whatever. Didn't they put on weren't they turning 400 horsepower in that race, something like that?
It was slow, yeah.
It was like 170.
It was one of the slowest NASCAR races I've ever seen.
I wouldn't rule it out. I would not rule it out. But I am curious if they don't do that, if they kind of let the track just do what it's going to do and they don't mess with the cars or the horsepower too much. I will be curious to see how it changes, how it evolves. I'm worried about this track with Xfinity and trucks, because I'm just not convinced. For some reason, the Xfinity cars with their new rules package this year just looked way too edgy. I know they ran most of the second half clean, but the first half was just impossible to watch. And I don't see that necessarily getting much better. So we'll see. I don't know what the future of this track holds, but it has the potential. It already is a unique facility, but it has the potential to become even more unique. There's just nothing quite like it on the rest of the schedule.
Please don't do it again, NASCAR.
Yeah. One's enough. But yet at the same time, and we'll get into this a bit later, I felt like the truck race was definitely more clean than, which is surprising. You would think that'd be the one that would be the wreck fest, but it really wasn't. That was overall a pretty clean race. And overall, I feel like that was probably the most entertaining finish of the weekend, watching Eckes and who was he battling?
Sanchez.
Nick Sanchez. Watching them both, go for it. Sanchez had it going down the back stretch, and he told me in the post race interviews, he said he never once thought that he had it won. He pretty much knew that he had messed up by taking the lead on the back stretch.
Yeah, but for the most part in the Cup race, though, especially in the early parts of it, a lot of single file racing. They obviously watched the truck and Xfinity races, and they were like, "Nah, we don't want any of that stuff just yet." But it wasn't totally free of the big one, because Kevin Harvick, unfortunately, while leading, I wouldn't say Chastain never touched him, but because of aerodynamics, because of a aerodynamic type deal, one went up, the other car was just so happened to be going down. That led to a spin and fortunately a massive big one. But Chastain early on got the blame, and I was guilty of that. At least on TV, it looked like he touched him for sure. But then looking at the replay, it clearly wasn't.
I want to jump in here. Maybe I could have made this my hot take, but I'm still not convinced. I still think Chastain does deserve a little bit of blame.
Okay. I think, all right, go ahead.
The way because Harvick said this in his post-race interview on Fox, is that he believes the way Chastain was so close to him in the center of the corner, the way he moved suddenly from the right side to the left side, that would manipulate the air in such a way that it could get a car really loose and spin them out. So I wonder, and it just hit me. Was it a few years ago? Who was it a few years ago? I want to say it was at Daytona, where there was a driver who multiple times in the race, going into turn 1, would do this move where they'd cut low, get on someone's left rear and try to pass them and spun them out. Was that Stenhouse?
He would do stuff like that.
That was the 2018 summer race.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be right. Well, 2018 summer race, he was wrecking a bunch of people in that race, right?
Yes, that's the one where they made the meme of him being like twice the size that he actually was.
I can't remember if this was that race, because I just remember it being more subtle. It might have been that race. It might have been set. But whoever it was, my point was, I remember there was a clear style of pass that one driver kept making that was spinning people out without touching him. And I thought to myself then, like, you wouldn't see a veteran driver, more experienced veteran, make that mistake. Ross Chastain's very aggressive, and he's less experienced than Harvick and a lot of the other veterans we saw at the front towards the end of this race. So while he didn't touch Harvick, and I'm not going to come down on him for bump drafting in the corner bad, to say he gets no blame, like nobody else spun out like that all day long. I don't know that anybody pushed quite like that all day long either. So I don't want to say Chastain gets no blame whatsoever. That's all I'm saying. People were like quick to be like, oh, never mind, he didn't touch him, he's good. He still had an effect on what Harvick's car did. That's the way I see it, at least.
I don't think it's to the level that some people were saying. Like I saw, it's like people were going either or. Either he's completely innocent, he's a man of honor, or it's he tried to kill him out there, get him off the track.
A man of honor. Is this the mafia?
I'll say this. We wanted to interview Harvick afterwards. He declined, not just us, but he declined TV. I think even he wasn't sure what happened, so he didn't want to say anything bad in case it wasn't on him.
Even Chris Buescher too, he was like, yeah, I thought the one turned the 4, but now I'm not really sure, so I don't want to say anything.
Now I wish that we still had 2012 Harvick, who would have like waited in his pit box till the end of the race.
Yeah, man. Or maybe 2002 Harvick, where he just goes and jumps the drive.
Let's not go that far yet. We can escalate from 2012, but if we need to de-escalate, it's still a possibility.
Yeah, true that. But that wasn't the only big major crash as well, too. I mean, Eric Almirola, Storehouse Racing, man, they can't catch a break. All right, first off, we were in the media center watching most of the race, by the way, and also staying warm too. It was so cold there. But freaking Storehouse Racing was getting roasted on the broadcast again, but this time Regan Smith decides to throw his little 2 cents in. He's basically like, "Hey, sorry, Tony, the 14, there's some problems or whatever." And then he's like, "Well, thank you for the concern." I just feel bad for Tony. Like, you bring him up to the Fox Sports booth to commentate full NASCAR races.
For him, get your team better. This is like people feeling bad for Jack Roush that his team got worse through the 2010s. It's like their actions.
I know, but it just feels like at this point, like now they're
off from NHRA and come back over and fix your NASCAR team. I don't know.
It feels like now they're just going out of their way, just doing it on purpose. Now though, like, hey Tony, your team's struggling. You see Tony. But then later in the race though, Eric Almirola, the chat's who's gonna suck pick weekly, he actually wasn't sucking. He was leading the race, and then the tire just explodes on him, and then
tire was 1,000 years old.
How old was it? 46? 46
it was 72 laps old.
Oh God. I didn't know that.
Well, I don't understand the strategy call, because he had stayed out, I think, to get the lead, and he blew that tire with like 50 to go. So was his plan to just stay out on 120 lap old tires?
No. And here's the thing. What he said to me, I didn't even get a chance to post this one. What he said to me in the interview outside the media center was that he said, "I'm not sure why we blew a tire, because we had been out longer than that before."
Oh, I did see something. He said that it might have been a puncture, like they ran over something. I did see someone tweeted or there's a quote I read later on that suggests maybe he hit some debris and it was just a fluke. Because I think I heard somebody else say that Christopher Bell maybe stayed out for 70 laps and obviously didn't have any issues. I don't know if it was Bell, but it was somebody else. Either way, like if the strategy was to stay out on 120 lap tires to make it to the finish, that I don't know that would have worked, but I'm no engineer. That does seem bold. But yeah, 2 SHR cars wrecked while leading this weekend. Like how much more bad juju can this team deal with? Like,
it's still an early season, Eric.
And they crashed Kyle Larson again.
Yes, Kyle Larson was minding his own business.
This is going to be another year where Almirola is the only one to win a race, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Hey, at this rate, it'll be Priest. He'll sneak into one somewhere after being 25th in points all year. Because
I still think watch out for Nashville. So
the best finishing SHR car, I think I saw Isaac said in the chat, was Briscoe in 24th.
Yep.
And and speaking of Priest, he was like down a cylinder all day.
Yeah,
So,
poor guy. Like
that sucks.
it's really hard to judge Ryan Preece's Cup career because his first team he drives for, JTG, the second entry, that obviously wasn't a really good ride. Now you think he would do better with Storehouse Racing, but now Storehouse Racing is in a bind, so
And
you're not really sure where he goes from here.
likewise, the car that they're in, I don't know if they have the greatest notes to go off of because of how it's been with Cole Custer in that one. So
Yeah. But going over the results, though, there's some pretty key notables here. I mean, obviously, Logano and Keselowski won too. Interesting post race. Like Keselowski was asked about like racing against Logano, and like because at one point it was Logano and Logano, him, and Blaney drafting for a while there, and he said like, yeah, it just felt like the good old days of Team Penske and stuff too. So hey, that's something to look out for future super speedway races as well. I mean, they're not teammates, but they know how to work together though. That's the thing. They know how to work together.
I was just surprised that like the fact that it was just pretty much Ford up there.
And
like I thought Hendrick would be competitive against them in this one. Like because last year, remember, Ford was so good in the 500 last year, and then Atlanta came around.
Hey, is Eric frozen for any of y'all?
No, he just messaged that his computer overheated. He'll be back in a minute.
Oh, okay.
He looks so done with my take.
Can we please raise some money to get my man a cooling pad for his laptop, please?
He was winning the stare contest for a second. I'm like, I didn't ask for a
stare. I kept looking over. I'm like, damn,
Eric. I'm like, oh, did I say something? Did I do something?
By the way, I just wanted to say that even with a 100-point penalty, Alex Bowman is still doing better than 3 SHR drivers.
It's sad,
here comes the ambulance coming to get Eric.
Put some call the fire department, cool down his computer. But no, anyways, the rest of the top 5 though, Christopher Bell in P3 finally gets a good result at Atlanta Super Speedway. But then the rest of the top 5, very interesting. Corey LaJoie, can we give him his flowers really quick for a moment? Like P4, second career top 5, first of 2023, currently sits 14th in the standings. Guys, he's my biggest surprise of the 2023 season so far, and for good reasons, man. That team, I don't know what they did during the offseason, but whatever they did, it's working like a charm. I mean, is it too early to say playoffs right now, though?
Yes.
I mean, like he's so consistent early on.
I'm not gonna say playoffs because those Hendrick cars are gonna be coming back in no time, but him slipping up and getting a super speedway win when there's still one more Daytona, one more Talladega, one more Atlanta, it's not impossible.
Yeah, it's certainly not out of the question, but it's not just super speedways. They're running well everywhere. It seems like they're running pretty well at any track.
I just wish people would stop pointing out how damn well he does at super speedways, because it's really affecting the betting market in a negative way for me. Because when he eventually breaks through and wins one, I want to win 10 grand. I don't want to win like $20.
Yeah, exactly. And then Tyler Reddick too, considering the fact that he almost didn't race on Sunday too, there was a chance he might not have been able to finish the race, still ends up with the top 5, and he was feeling a whole lot better afterwards. He said too, he was feeling fine. So
by the way, welcome back, Eric. Is the fire out yet?
Yeah, I've been an editing machine all day. My computer's been on fire. It finally overheated.
Do you not have a cooling pad?
Well, of course. Well, I have all sorts of general cooling equipment. I've added a little external fan down there, so I hope you guys don't hear that beautiful humming sound the rest of the show.
No, I don't hear nothing. No, you're all good. You're all good. But yeah, no, Tyler Reddick, this was his first top 5 of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
And not bad for a guy who had a stomach bug the morning of.
Yeah. Actually, no. It says this is his. It says it's his second top 5. Well, I don't know if that's right. I don't know. It's NASCAR.com, so I'm not sure if the stats are totally accurate.
I don't recall him getting.
But yeah, no. I'll look.
Reddit? Are you talking about Tyler Reddick?
Yes.
It was last week at Phoenix. I think he ended up.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Sorry,
I'd
guys.
say
Yeah, that's right.
The ambulance was really loud outside, so
I
couldn't.
Okay. So Tyler Reddick, 2 top 5s in a row. Not bad. But then going over the rest of the top 10, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Eric Jones. He had some pretty interesting things to say about racing with respect during the weekend too. And then Ty Gibbs finishes 9th. Not bad. And then Kyle Busch rounds up the top 10.
That's his first top 10 as a full-time Cup
Yeah.
Series driver. Ty
And
Gibbs.
started in 35th. Started all the way in 35th.
And I think Gibbs is who I had as my underdog last week. I think.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Check.
So maybe they're starting to turn around a little bit, but hey, it's still too early to tell. But some disappointments though. Let me start off with this. Like Bubba, what was that? I thought Bubba blew a tire.
What
and me and Danny
happened?
So where we were standing, it was hard to tell what happened.
Yeah, and I was like, there's no way he just lost it, right? And then he go on social media and then he says rookie mistake. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And this is the main reason why I didn't have him making the playoffs this year. Just that inconsistency. And this is supposed to be at a track where this is your track, my guy. Tyler Reddick just got a top 5. You should have been competing with the win with him. But, within the first 10 laps, you lose it all by yourself. Now, it's cool he was able to laugh about it, but it's like, dude, you're year 3 with the team. You got to make the playoffs, bro. You got to, man. It's not going to look good. It's not going to be a good look. But, yeah, at least he was able to find the funniness in that. But, yeah, you got to put together the solid runs.
Well,
right.
I see Mittens is in the chat, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Mittens.
Hello, Mittens.
What's up? Hi, Mittens. And hello to all the other lovely people watching. Really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. So yeah, I think that really does it for like the race analysis part or whatever. We can get to some of the funny parts of it, but Brad Keselowski, after the race, let's see. I got a new video idea. Porta potty bus Brad Keselowski.
What?
You busted a porta potty? What is it? What are we saying?
Go ahead, Jared. What do you guys say?
Why the hell was the cameraman A, following him to the shitter, but then B, stayed on it?
Yeah, that's what bugged me.
He was on him.
Waiting for a kid to get in frame?
I can get, follow him when he gets out of car, just see what happens. He just finished second. But then when he's in the bathroom, I don't know why you're still there.
Yeah, they just kept the camera on him. It made me laugh because I'm like, how many times has there been a wreck, especially in Xfinity or trucks, where it's like, how do we not have a replay? How is there not a camera on that? Not even like a big wide angle where we can kind of zoom in.
I don't know.
But
we have a camera on the porta john. Like
at the same time, though, I love that you just see it perfectly. Brad goes in, you can tell it doesn't lock because it's still green. Mm-hmm. Then another person goes into one to the right, another person goes in one to the left. They somehow knew don't go in that one in the middle, and all of a sudden here comes Denny. Oh, this is open. It's clearly green. No, it's not.
Hey, the real question is, did Keselowski keep his helmet on when he was doing that?
And I would assume so. I never saw him taking off going in.
That's got to be uncomfortable, right? Like when you're going like number.
Like, can you imagine? Oh, did fog up in there? And then Denny going in with a drink. I'm like, can you imagine how many things could get in that drink?
Yeah, he was
I don't
like,
care
really,
if
man?
it's like 50 degrees out the whole day. It's above freezing. Like, stuff's gonna get out.
Oh, Spencer. Oh, go ahead.
It's a good thing that he had his shingles vaccine already. So
Spencer says in the chat, Fox cameras were disappointed that all the kids left, so they decided to film that instead. Yeah, it's probably what happened.
I did say I had positive things to say about Fox at the beginning. They did do a lot of side-by-side crowd shots. I'm all for crowd shots under caution. I don't mind if they show kids and families, but they would be showing the race on one small box and they'd show just random fans sitting or maybe cheering in the stands in the other. And I just I don't know that I don't need that. Don't make the racing smaller to show. There was one funny bit, I think, going to commercial. They showed an older lady holding a sign upside down, and then she's like, "Oh
yeah, I saw that."
And then I will say there was one under caution where I can't remember if it was a Harvick fan or somebody, but this person was a fan of someone who just got crashed out. And he's like, they're cussing at the track and stuff. I'm like, I love angry fan cam. It's like,
there's
like that time that Elliott had the blown engine in Atlanta, and they just showed the
oh yeah,
or
the time that you could clearly see Dalton Good dropping an F-bomb at Daytona.
We were there, and we were like, we immediately called it out on the big. We were like, oh, that's him, and we were laughing about it. And oh boy, what are the odds?
That was good. I love again, but those are all under caution. Angry fan cam is beautiful when used appropriately.
Yeah, hey, Fox needs to do more of that. Find more angry fans and stuff. I guarantee your ratings will go up.
And maybe
We'll go
turn
up
the
for sure.
commentator voice down. Like people are talking about it. So I'll admit I actually turned the commentary off after 80 laps.
Hold
and
on.
turned on the radio.
Let's talk about that really quick. So we were in the media center. We were obviously, like hearing, and listening and watching to the race and stuff inside of it. When all of a sudden Mike Joy again, what did he say, guys? What did he say,
I don't know.
guys?
I didn't hear it.
Why is he so obsessed with these things? And why are they warriors all of a sudden?
Oh, you got the keyboard.
Somebody
warrior
needs
straps
to
ready to go.
somebody needs to do an edit instead of the bottles. It's keyboards. Warriors, come out to
Come out to
play.
Hey, I gotta say, I walked over to Elijah Burke, our RFK's social admin, and I told him that was a great meme when he posted to Eric a reply of some keyboard looking like a weapon.
Strap. Yeah, I was like, hey, Elijah, you got the strap
when
ready?
are we
Got the strap
banning
ready?
assault keyboards from the track?
That's funny.
And the AR keyboard 15s are now banned permanently from the track. But no, let's talk about
stands
this.
for assault keyboard.
But
Why did you just go Ben Shapiro voice to say that?
But I just wanted to talk
I'm
about-
laughing at assault keyboard.
I wanted to talk about this really quick. So, okay, guys, we're having way too much fun. All right, let's get back on track.
Well, it's worth having fun with. Like, are we really
Let us laugh, you keyboard warrior.
Are we gonna
But I got
take
a
it that
question.
serious?
I know, but I got a question though, man. Just at
Okay,
this point,
you know where to find me.
At this point, I mean, guys, how are we feeling about this? Is this funny? Is this cringe? Eric, you
It's
start us off
probably
with it.
over because I saw Mike Joy posted like a 2-part, not necessarily an apology, more of like a reasoning and sort of understanding Twitter thread. So I doubt he's going to keep doing it. I didn't hate it the first time he did it. I thought it was like not the best look for Fox to sort of criticize the fans who've been criticizing them. I feel like it comes with the territory. You're the big, massive corporate entity. You're going to get criticized on social media. That's how it works. That's how Twitter works. So I didn't think it was a great look, especially when a lot of the criticism, I believe, has been fairly valid. So making Mike Joy be the like face of Fox who feels the need to defend them always seemed weird to me because most people don't have an issue with Mike Joy. He's still very solid at his job.
He doesn't have to do that.
You don't have to do that, Mike.
So I didn't think he needed to either. He didn't need to go to bat for his bosses on that one. So I hope he's kind of moves on from it because it is a little corny now. At this point, it's just cheesy.
Like he's just the on-air talent. I won't mention any specifics, but even talking to someone at Fox, I think they said something along the lines of, yeah, it's a little weird that he does that.
I wondered if there was I doubt anyone's in his ear telling him to say it. I think he just takes it upon himself, and I don't blame him.
Out of his own way.
But I think it's probably over and done with, and it probably should be.
But according to Jared, go ahead.
Well, I'll be real. I mean, I was like, I kind of just in general have, and maybe I was just in a bad mood. I don't know. I didn't think I was. I honestly had a really fun time for the most part. But I got to the point where I'm like, I can't keep. I'm not going to keep complaining every week. You know, I'll say what I think. I will give whatever constructive criticism I can. But I was like, I need to enjoy a race and not have to think about the horrible broadcast I'm watching. So I put up a stream that was somewhere on Twitch, and I put on the radio, and I enjoyed the race. I had the international broadcast on with the radio like people have been telling me to do for years, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. It actually was pretty good. I turned on the TV one at the end because generally I think the commentary gets better in the last 10 to 15 laps because they're finally on it. The intensity's up. To Fox's credit, they backload the commercials so much they didn't have a ton of them at the end. And so you get the best at the end. You get the best of both worlds. You do it this way. So I didn't hear it. Like, everyone started tagging me, and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, and when you do that with the SMI tracks, they are exclusively with Performance Racing Network and not Motor Racing Network.
Yep.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I prefer Doug Rice's voice a little bit better. And I've listened to both MRN and PRN, and I kind of like the PRN just a little bit more. That's just me, though.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I
welcoming
agree.
me, like Irvin's welcoming me to the club.
I'll again give, and I feel like such a Fox Sports apologist tonight, but I will give Mike and Clinton them credit. When Harvick spun, Harvick and Chastain, that whole deal, they had energy. It was
Yeah.
and then it was Mike Joy with a very affirmative, like excited voice calling the action, not going silent, not relying on Boyer to be like, ooh. It was like, no, they took control of the scene and really added to that moment. It was a gut punch. When it happened, it was like, oh my gosh, instead of just, oh my gosh.
And then you see the finishing call. And I was like,
it wasn't great.
I'm like, come on.
Neither was the end of stage 2. The end of stage 2 was rough. They needed to do a better job painting that picture because you had all the lap traffic in the way. To the average viewer, it was probably a little confusing who was actually out front. They didn't do a very good job of color commentating that one.
Yeah, true that.
Side note, can I just say, I love that NASCAR Shell said, "Thank you, Fox, for front-loading commercials," followed up by, "Please do not pirate the international feed."
I noticed that.
If it comes up on my feed, it's there. It was there. It was there. It's just right there. It was right there. It was right there. I was minding my own business, and it just popped up on my screen.
Well, now we're 5 races in, and I just wanted to take a really quick look at the playoffs, but I couldn't help but laugh now by seeing that Justin Haley is now minus 25 points behind.
Hey.
Now. Yeah, there you go. He's minus 25.
He's almost out of debt.
He's almost into
away.
the black.
Yeah, he's chugging away. But I like how on NASCAR.com for their driver standings they have him listed as being 44th in points, but then Jimmy Johnson's 36, Travis Pastrana 35th. So like, damn, they have him like way below.
I'm 43rd and a half. I'm just letting you know now. I'm right ahead of him.
Hey, we're all ahead of him right now, technically. But hey, right now though, as the points stand, and this is just consistent points right now, Joey Logano only 1 point ahead of Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain sitting in third, -5, and then rounding out the top 5, Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski. Eric, hey, you might not be too far off. Brad Keselowski could win a race this year, man. He is on a roll. And then Kevin Harvick, he did have the points lead, but then got involved in that big one. He lost it. Kyle Busch in P7, Kevin Harvick 6, Kyle Busch P7, Martin Truex Jr. 8th, Denny Hamlin 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is Daniel Suarez. See, that team, they've had speed, but then a few things just haven't gone their way, or they're not able to keep it consistently enough so far.
Yeah, they've been there.
But the final 6 of the top 16, very intriguing. You see a lot of different parity. Austin Cindric, P11, and considering the rookie season he had last year, where it's like he really didn't seem to get better. This is a decent start to the season. It's not bad. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., I mean, he's 12th, but I mean, he's already locked in, but just the fact that he's 12th in consistent standings, maybe they have improved that team.
He's not running top 10, but I think his worst finish is like 22nd or something like that. So they haven't had any like disastrous races yet.
Yeah, they haven't had anything too bad happen to them. Now, Chris Buescher, he would be a lot higher if he didn't get involved in that big one. Like, I don't know, he's 13th in points right now, but I think he's performed a lot better than his points position shows him at the moment. And then Corey LaJoie, we just talked about him, my personal favorite surprise of 2023 thus far, P14. And rounding out the last 2 positions, Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace with 23-11. With Tyler Reddick coming off back-to-back top 5s, we were a little worried at first, like, what's going on here? And Bubba Wallace, just imagine if he didn't get loose, how much further in points he would be. But
you know how far back Larson is now? It's just going on the bottom of the screen right now. 68.
Oh, gosh. And Chase Elliott is currently ahead of Kyle Larson in points. That's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, we do put an asterisk if they get their points rescinded, which is still probably a long shot. But if they do, all 4 of those Hendrick cars are going to vault back up into the top 10 or 12.
But hey, Danny, Alex Bowman is now. Alex Bowman's back in the top 20 in points, though. Let's give him a round of applause. Yeah, he's back in the top 20.
That's what happens when you get all those top 10s. And he was close getting another top 10 in this one. Unfortunately, he got hung out to dry by Chastain, it sounded like.
Yeah, that was not too happy. Not too happy.
Yeah.
The last one to be knocked down, but I'm looking at the bottom line, and Bowman at the moment's only 26 out of the playoffs. So
yeah, I'm not worried about his chances right now.
He's got to make up a point or two a race on.
I mean, he's going to a track that he finished second at last year, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And speaking of disappointment so far, I mean, it's still early, but I don't know. I'm shocked Austin Dillon isn't in the top 20 at the moment. He's one that I felt would benefit from having Kyle Busch as a teammate, sharing information and stuff. But so far, I don't know, like the first few races of the season he was, but now it's sort of stalled out. And then Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece, and Eric Almirola are sitting 23rd, 26th, and 27th, all while Kevin Harvick's top 10 in points. So that's
That's
Storehouse
just
Racing got a
That's
lot
the
of
new
work to
normal
do.
for Stuart Haas, unfortunately.
So we're just gonna we're just constantly pulling worse and worse remakes of 2020 over and over and over again. Kevin Harvick outrunning his teammates.
Pretty much, I guess so. It gets further apart every year, it seems like. Oh boy. But hey,
It's
we still got a long way to
by
go.
Disney.
What did Tony Storr do to piss Disney off for this trip? What do you do? What do you do now?
He went to NHRA.
Oh man.
But yeah.
I love that Stuart in November or whatever last year was saying he didn't want to be at another race all season. And now he's like going to be in the broadcast booth for the next like 6 or something like that. He's doing like almost every race.
Like he went from doing like what 2 or 3 last year. Now he's been it for almost all of them.
Yeah.
Probably,
Yeah,
hey, we
but-
need somebody who has like no enthusiasm whatsoever, makes one good joke or race that everyone forgives that lack of enthusiasm for, so that when we get Kevin Harvick in there, who's actually really good, everyone will think he's the second coming of Christ or Romo, and we'll have a great ass time.
Or Romo.
Or Romo.
I like that.
So I'm wondering, is there any chance at all that we see Mike Joy finally enjoy retirement and Tony hops in there? But at the same time, do we really want a 3-driver lineup?
No, there has to be a lead
Alexander.
commentator.
I'm telling you, Adam Alexander. I'm sticking with my guns here.
I wouldn't
He's
mind him.
growing on me. He has absolutely grown. Like I've always liked him, but I was never sure if he was like A-list material. But I'm on that train now.
He's building the energy. That's what I like. Is like when I watch an Xfinity race, he'll have fun. They have that little lull. You'll get that lull. But when he has to be on it, he's on it. And the drivers with him know, okay, it's our time to shut up. Let the commentator do his job. I like that. And
also too, you have to remember as well, like he works with different drivers each week.
Well,
so like imagine if he can work with the same people. You know?
And he had and my thing is that he had that time at TNT when I did not like him in the booth at that point. I didn't think he was ready to be in the booth. And I think like from when he learned doing that and then being behind someone like an all-time great like Mike Joy, because make no mistake, we might say whatever about Mike Joy. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer on the same level as Ken Squire. So to me, I can't wait to see when he's in the booth, wherever he's at. It might not even be Fox. It might be NBC or ESPN if they show up, or CBS. Wherever it is, I cannot wait to see him call Cup races again.
Yeah, I agree. We've had some very, very positive moments, but now we're gonna have to start to dig into the negatives. The TV ratings. Yeah, the TV ratings, the good old TV ratings.
Are we doing TV ratings, or are we doing what ratings are we doing, Darren? I'm not completely sold yet if it's TV or not.
Oh man, this year just hasn't been the best. It hasn't been the best start to the season. So the ratings, let's get into them. 1.95 overall rating with 3.4 million watching, just a little over 3.4. 606,000 watched though in the key demographic, which made up for 17% and ended up beating F1's.
It got beat by F1.
Oh no, my bad. Sorry, I read that wrong. Sorry, no. Oh no, they did not beat him. My bad. Ended up getting beat by F1's 681,000, which made up for 45% of their broadcast. So overall, it is down 50% in viewership and down 17%.
It was not down 50.
Well, I said 15. Oh, did I say 50?
You said 50.
That sound like I said 50?
I was like, no. It's
no. I said, well, I thought I said 15. Sorry, no. But
I'm not turning into the Doomer NASCAR subreddit on this one.
We don't need to be down 50, bro. No way. But no, it was down 15% in viewership and down 17% in the rating, down 8% from 2021, as well as being down 14% from 2020. This is the 6th straight race, including the Clash, to be down from 2022. But also, this might be even worse in my opinion to some extent. Xfinity was down 10% and the Truck Series down 4%. So I don't know, Eric, you start us off here. I mean, we talk about the Chase Elliott effect, but I'm starting to think it has to be way more than that at this point. Correct?
So I want to ask, and I don't think our chat is the right people to ask, because I think our chat are kind of hardcore fans who watch most races no matter what. But I would be genuinely curious to know how big of an effect the next gen car played and continues to play on the casual viewer. Because we saw some upticks last year. We saw clearly an uptick in attendance. Some of that you could chalk up to, we're fully out of COVID, out of the pandemic. But some of that you could chalk up to the new car and some new tracks and some new intrigue there. Was the new car the driving force behind the ratings bumps last year? Because now that it's in year 2, it's no longer new and exciting. And it's, last year kind of had some down notes at the end of the year with, Kurt Busch and Alex Bowman's seasons being cut short by faulty areas of the car. Like, now that the next gen is old, is that it? Is this just that those viewers all tuned out?
Well,
I wonder if that had an effect, because we saw across the board upticks for most of last year. And I think the next gen is the clear denominator, the common denominator there. So this year, is it just that the next gen is old news? The Chase Elliott effect is real. We were seeing 6 to 8% decreases until he went out. Now it's 15%. So at least those 7 to 8%, that's Chase Elliott fans. I would bet everything on it. But that's we're still 7 to 8% down each week. I don't know what it is. F1 has been down or flat the first 2 races of their season. So maybe it's just other than IMSA, it sounds like motorsport growth in the US is not great to start this year. It's not at the forefront of everyone's mind. I mean, F1 had a new season of Drive to Survive come out 3 weeks ago, and they still can't pull in ratings increases from last year. So I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. Big picture, the broadcasts need to change. Maybe the cars have to be more interesting. Maybe the racing product needs to be more interesting. But like, the racing, by and large, has been decent this year. I don't know. I still like your theory, Jarrett, that the hardcore fan base has grown a little bit, because aside from this weekend in Atlanta, Xfinity and trucks seem to have been up most of this year. But I don't know. I don't know if that's actually true. It's kind of a shot in the dark.
You could see. Well, I think it because I think it was down last week too for Xfinity, but it coincides with Elliott being out. I'm not saying that the Elliott is the end all be all. It still was down before, but outside of Xfinity truck. I'm saying truck, it is clear. The hardcore base, a lot of hardcore fans are Elliott fans. And I'll just say this straight up. I don't blame Chase Elliott fans if they didn't watch. I've seen some on Twitter that follow me who said, I just can't watch it without my driver. I get it. When Dale Jr. was out in 2012 and 2016 and then retired, it's hard as hell for me to watch it. It's like before about 2020, I really didn't watch much Xfinity or truck because it wasn't, for me, I didn't have a vested interest in it. Now, I think, overall, I think next gen might be part of it because we've seen this before with new cars. We saw in 2008, the start of the year, full time with the COT, the ratings went up about 5% by the end of the year, kind of like last year. They tapered out, and the next year was a big drop. And then 2013, the Gen 6 comes out, has a bit of a tick up in ratings from 2012, 2014, big fall down. So I think what that says, if it is the next gen car, is that NASCAR needs to figure out ways that aren't flash in the pan deals to bring people in. The Clash is a big thing that'll bring people in a year or two, but we don't know long term about that. Chicago Street Race will probably bring a lot of people in on TV, but will it do it in year 2, 3, 4? I think NASCAR's doing a really good job of getting the racing back on track. I think they're doing a good job of trying things outside of the box. Now they need to focus on the long term. And the long term, in my opinion, is the drivers. Get the drivers out there. Like, people were ranting and raving over Ryan Blaney being in a 20-second ad. And we need more of this. It was a simple ad that any other sport event, like sporting league event, any other racing series, even IndyCar, is doing better than NASCAR right now.
You're talking about that body armor ad. Yeah, that was a good ad.
It was a good ad. That should be the norm. Like, if I watch an NFL game this past season, I'm going to see an ad with the Kelsey brothers. I'm going to see an ad with Mahomes, with Brady, with Rodgers. Justin Jefferson's going to be in ads. Like
Derrick Henry,
especially in Tennessee. Like, so that's that. In my opinion, that's what NASCAR has to do now. If they want to increase, you start with getting the drivers out there and being likable, because I bet you if I went to somebody like that maybe watch NASCAR casually or just a random college student, I said, name 3 NASCAR drivers. They're probably going to go Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Dale Jr. Or Kyle Busch.
Or Dale Earnhardt.
Kyle Busch. Maybe Chase Elliott if he gets out. But I think Chase Elliott's for that
Bubba.
hardcore base. Probably Bubba.
Yeah.
But okay, where'd you hear about them from? Not NASCAR.
Strangely going to be a lot named Josh Williams now.
I love
we'll get into that.
Brandon
I
Brown.
have heard some Ross Chastains actually from people I wouldn't have expected in the last few months.
Yeah, I will say that when a big thing like that happens, it's weird. I had people who never talk about racing to me at all talk to me about what happened this weekend. We'll get into that.
The real focus, though, needs to be on the younger fan, because the number that alarms me is only 17% of the people who watched Atlanta, 17% of them were under the age of 50.
Wow.
That's insane to actually think about.
That is insane.
Like,
that's
compared
actually
to F1's
ridiculous.
45%. Yeah,
and I don't want to sound disrespectful. Of course, it's great that NASCAR has a lot of older fans who've probably been watching for decades. That sort of loyalty is unmatched in most sports. That's amazing. But ultimately, if NASCAR wants to continue to be top dog in the United States as far as motorsports long term, they're going to need that percentage of young fans to go up significantly. It doesn't need to be 50% like F1, but it needs to be 30. Mm-hmm. It needs to get to 30% of their viewership. And it can't be, 30% of 800,000. No, it needs to be 30% of 4 million. Like it's like, it could be. And how do they do that without it feeling forced and cringy? I don't know.
Market to kid. I mean, that's what they did. That's what happened in the 90s when there's ways to get that. There's ways that you can't do it anymore. But why can't a NASCAR driver on a regular basis be on a kid show, like come on a kid show like Sesame Street? I don't know. I'm just naming. I don't watch kid shows anymore, so I don't know. But why?
You don't? I'm surprised.
But
no, my maturity's there, but I watch other things.
Some of that's good and great, but I also don't want to force it too much, because NASCAR has to pay for that. The teams have to go out of their way to make that happen. They got to kind of finagle their way into those sort of media appearances, and some of that's good.
It's worth it.
It's worth it, but I'm saying I think you got to do more beyond that. You do have to make it more natural. I think drivers do need to embrace social media more. They can't all just post cinematic highlight reels of their weekend to TikTok and call it good. Like, no, that's so impersonal. That's bland, generic, terrible content for social media. You got to actually talk to your fans. And that's, I don't know. So many drivers are afraid to do it. And I understand, because they're afraid of saying one thing slightly off that could ruin a relationship with a sponsor or get them into trouble. I understand it, but boy, that's what we need. That, like, we sit here, we come on here, and I know we don't have millions of dollars of sponsorship behind us, but we come on here every single week and talk for 2 hours. If we can do it, NASCAR drivers should be able to do stuff like this too, every single week. And it's a shame that none of them do. At least none of the Cup Series drivers do.
I found it interesting. I was
Doesn't Max Verstappen stream regularly?
Mm-hmm.
At least, and Lando Norris does.
Well, these dudes,
Charles Leclerc.
And you're telling they've got way more to lose than anyone in NASCAR does.
What I found interesting was the first year they did the IndyCar NASCAR doubleheader. One of the big things I heard from fans that were going in and out of different garages was how easy it was to talk to IndyCar drivers and how secluded NASCAR drivers were. And a lot of times I'm not giving all these guys crap either. I know they sign a lot of stuff. I know they stop. I've seen it. But a lot of NASCAR drivers too will walk by, won't give you the time of day, like in the moment. I get it. They're doing stuff. But if you wind back the clock to about 30 years ago, when they were testing at Indianapolis for the first time, the thing about NASCAR drivers is, wow, these fans are like, wow, I was able to walk up and talk to Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, and the IndyCar drivers. When IndyCar was in the position NASCAR is now as the most popular motorsport, they were the difficult ones to get access to. And none of these are a magical fix, but I'm saying is all these together, I think would work in the long term, because it's racing isn't like football or basketball where there is always a barrier. One of the big differences of the experience and getting people, and especially if you get people there, is you can meet that superstar. I could. Hell, I think 2020, I walked right up to Jimmy Johnson in the garage. I was talking with Kurt Busch about the Chicago Cubs. The older drivers seem to get it a bit.
My only counter, that sounds amazing. I think NASCAR should do that, but I don't know that that's necessarily going to grow the sport much, because F1 drivers are impossible to you're not going to see an F1 driver.
Yeah,
and they've grown. I'm with you doing something different. My whole point is they need to get younger fans, and they can't force it with clearly corporate crap. That's if you force it, if you try to force yourself to attract the younger fan, you come out with Race for the Championship that airs 10 p.m. on USA Network, and nobody watches it. That was the biggest waste of money I've ever
Going
seen.
against Thursday Night Football.
It wasn't like bad content, but it was clearly forced. It was not reaching the right demographic. It was a waste of money. You can't force it.
It would have been better if they would have gotten that time slot right after Monday Night Raw instead of Chris Lee knows best.
Well, if you want younger fans, don't be on fucking cable. Like that's the problem.
It's true.
On 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Stream on Twitch. Stream on YouTube.
Right. I'm gonna be real. The only reason I have YouTube TV, which I don't care what anyone says, that is cable. That's cable. It's just cable in a better way. Like that's all it is. And I've noticed a lot of people who watch us. I noticed a lot of people after the race on Sunday and the 2 races. When I did those streams, a lot of them were saying the only reason I have YouTube TV is because of NASCAR. And I'm just gonna say now, if I can find a cheaper alternative, I'm not staying on cable. Like I don't want to stay on cable. I literally can watch everything else now. YouTube TV has Sunday Ticket soon, so I'll watch the Vikings on that. But my dad pays for that, and I like him, and I use the same account. Like I am 25 years old. I am that demo that NASCAR wants. Now I'm a diehard, so they don't really need to cater to me. I'm going to watch anyway. But my point is, I still am very much like you guys. I'm like a lot of you at home that are around the age of us. And I guarantee a lot like the younger fans that NASCAR's gonna want, who are teenagers and kids now. I don't want this old crap anymore. It's clunky. It's boring. It's old. It is not efficient. So, I'm not. Put it on a streaming service. You know what? Put it on for free on YouTube and then advertise the shit out of it and push it like in the banner ads in front of every video. You know what they should do? Make one of those on YouTube, and then the entire episode is an ad before any NASCAR content. So I've seen this before where like different people will make a 48-minute video and make that.
I know what you're talking about.
And if it's interesting enough, I'll sit and watch the entire damn thing. You make money off it. You get people invested with it. Do that. Do something different.
I will say this, and again, I won't say who they are. I'll just say someone with NASCAR told me this weekend that it's their understanding that there will at least be some kind of streaming deal in the next deal. They said they will be very surprised if there is not some form like that in there.
I honestly wonder, and we can kind of move on from this. I don't mean to keep dwelling on this whole topic, but I honestly wonder if it becomes worthwhile at a certain point, especially if, say, next year we see viewership continue. If let's say this year, even Chase Elliott comes back, every race is down 15% from last year. And next year, every race is down another 5 or 10%. At that point, the new deal will already be signed. But at that point, I think it would be worth considering a full-on move to Amazon, like all 36 races, and just say, screw it. We're gonna only have 1 million viewers a race for a year. But like there will come a point if the older audience continues to go away and they don't attract the younger audience, at some point, I think they might have to consider just a complete change in philosophy and just tell the team. I don't know how you'd work it out with the teams, because obviously they won't be happy about that. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if at some point you just like, hey, we can't still be on cable in 2030. We got to just jump the shark and go to streaming. And it's going to suck in the short term, but we think chips are all in. This is our push to get the younger fans, and we'll see if it works. I don't know. That might happen at some point.
So let's say theoretically NASCAR could make $2 per person? Is that likely? If they did that and 1 million people watch, that's $2 million per race.
Yeah, something.
It's Amazon. I don't know how the money would exactly work.
I'm not sure how it would work.
It's not pay per view. It would be, you pay per month or per year, whatever it is, for like Amazon Prime or whatever.
Yeah.
The problem with this though is we're talking about this in the mind of 2024, 25. NASCAR's wanting to do an 8 to 10 year deal again, and then unlike the NFL, unlike the NBA, they don't have the leverage to strong arm the networks and say we need to change this now. We need to change this to like. So what they're signed into now might be the same thing we see signed in when the next negotiations come up in 2033 or 2035. And by then we might have like a whole thing where we just have a hologram around us watching the race from home.
we might just be able to do something where we select which driver I want to sit in with this race, and we'll ride along.
The next thing that they have like little shotgun cameras in like every car now. The next thing they got to do is make those 360 cameras where I can sit in a VR headset and like ride shotgun with Chase Elliott and like just watch the race that way.
You know,
that's
be
next.
cool is if they made.
That's what they got to do next.
I swear, that's the last thing, and I won't get off topic here. But what would be cool would be, and you could market this to people who don't watch NASCAR is like, okay, we're gonna make a VR kind of deal. You put it on, and you are in the car riding shotgun through a NASCAR historical moment, whether it's like a finish like Craven Busch, or it's like, you know, a Daytona 500, or something crazy like Brendan Gaughan's flip, and you can see from like firsthand. I don't know how you do that. It'd probably take
falling out of my recliner.
Yeah, you're just like,
shit.
I would want to be. I'd want to be in Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s car in 1998 to see what it was like going for, trying to hold off and finally win.
Well, because the technology's not there yet, but you know it's gonna get there. It's amazing how fast it works. So like I know I'm just speaking purely hypothetical. I've lost the plot at this point, but I like it. I gotta say this while I'm thinking about it.
No, I like where it's going.
But at the same time,
the Josh Williams conversation as long as we can. We're teasing the audience.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, I guess we need to finish the Cup race.
Hey, look, there's a lot of questions with TV ratings, but certainly not a question with what's next. What's next on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast? The poll, the famous iceberg poll. Jarrett,
I need some water.
Oh, get some water. Yeah, Jarrett, take us away.
All right, so I asked everybody. I actually have it pulled up this time, as long as YouTube doesn't. Oh, yeah, never mind. YouTube reset it. I had it pulled up. But what I asked was, what did you think of the 2023 Am Better Health 400? 12% of you said it was great. 48% said it was good. 60% of you then were the net positive. 25% of you said that it was average. 9% below average, and 5% said bad. So 14% net negative. I ask all of you now. The first comment, was it positive, negative, or meme? It was Tank Slapper that put it.
Meme. Everyone agrees.
Mem.
He put 36 train emojis.
We were right. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, meme indeed. Choo-choo.
All right.
Certainly saw some choo-choo racing, for sure.
Well, looking at the comments from the poll, top one that I have on my screen is from Parker. Parker! Sorry. He put, respect to Keselowski and Logano for racing clean at the end. Brad is 100% right. You can race clean. You can race clean finishes at the end of these races. Solid overall, 7.5 out of 10. Farkle 8000 was next up, said, ever since beginning to watch NASCAR in 2020 after the pandemic break, I've never wanted Brad Keselowski to win so badly. What a heartbreak for the number 6 team and RFK.
Hey, not necessarily a full heartbreak. They're fifth in points. They're pretty good. They're still pretty good overall.
Finally finished out a race.
It stings.
Yeah, true.
Let's see. From Irving Boy 11-2 with a Chase Elliott 9 as their profile pick.
Mm-hmm.
That was Penske domination right there. I wanted Brad to win so bad, though. I think Brad Keselowski became like the underdog hero last year.
Yeah, really, it's Ford domination overall as well.
Damien 0816 said stage 1 and 2, snake. Stage 3, absolute. Brad Keselowski almost won this race. I'm not picking these all because they're Brad Keselowski. There's just that many people talking about it.
They were happy to see him right up front.
NASCAR Comparison says, was at the race in person. The stands were packed. There was so much energy in the stands. The last 40 laps felt like a real super speedway race and a great finish. Although Keselowski didn't win, it was still a good race. The broadcast did not do this race justice. 7.5 out of 10. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm not crazy about it because the broadcast isn't doing it for me.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard personally. I've heard
it's a legit concern. Yeah, legit criticism.
Let's see. Media Madness, the first one that doesn't mention Keselowski, and it's not positive. I haven't really been wowed by a race yet this year. The Daytona 500 was the best for me so far. Well, not negative either, just sort of honest.
Yeah, just honest.
Chewy Not Chewbacca, says, this was a great race. New pit road entry made it exciting and very skill-based. Great finish, although I'm sad to see Brad Keselowski lose. Great race. I think Brad Keselowski became an underdog hero this past year and a half.
Yeah.
And so did Kyle Busch.
Especially, yeah, I mean, with the way Keselowski was struggling last year, and now it looks like early on he's began to turn it around. So we'll see. One of those feel-good stories for sure. Yeah.
Let's see what else we have.
Are we down to the gutter comments yet?
Gutter. We're just gonna call him that now.
Yeah, at least I am.
They've been voted into the gutter.
All right. I at least know that the last three are not bad. Like I can actually read them.
All right.
But I want to try and find a couple that aren't negative first before we go there. But yeah, I want to. Oh, there's Hank Slapper's comment popped up again with 36 trains. Elaine says these races are crappy when there's no practice. Okay then. NXLXN said shorten the race. They already did.
Yeah, they did. It was 500 last year, now it's 400 this year.
I appreciate it. I think 400 was a good length for this race.
Yeah.
I'll get to the last three then. We'll get to the gutter comments. First one's from T. Schultz, who has, I don't understand how anyone can enjoy that crap. I didn't say that, they did.
Okay.
Evan Necula is down here. Wow.
Wow.
Puts finally a Chevy doesn't win.
And that got downvoted? Wow.
Yeah, of course.
These Chevy fans are
fanboys are serious.
They're crazy. Yeah.
But my JM.
Tyler Anthony with the lowest voted comment. No responses to this one though. Says worst race I have ever watched. Most boring event to come across my TV. Wasted my Sunday with this crap. This package at Atlanta is not entertaining. The stages is not entertaining. Great grammar. And we need something changed. Please.
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not even the most positive person about it, but still, that some of those were
a
little overboard. But yeah, that was
how do you think the Chevy fanboys are reacting to the confirmed news that the Camaro is effectively maybe not being discontinued, but will be reimagined in a couple of years?
Yeah, so I put that out on Twitter and I said, what do you think replaces the Camaro in NASCAR? Thinking maybe they just don't have it in the sport. A lot of people are saying maybe the Malibu or something like that. Then people are saying Corvette. Some people are just saying, well, the next Camaro. I heard this a while back. I'm not even sure they might be taking a break from the Camaro, to be honest.
I
don't know what they're doing.
I think that was the plan. I saw that the Camry, I think, is getting a redesign too. So
it's already nice how it is.
Yeah, I saw it was like it has this weird thing where there's like two headlights on each side. It's odd looking.
It's probably just trying to match up to all the trucks and SUVs they've changed here recently.
Yeah. So I would assume we'll probably see a Toyota change pretty soon if that's the
which
case.
I always think that is interesting because you don't think of it doing much, but when they change up the noses on these and it has to affect NASCAR, it does make a little difference at first. We saw the Camaro struggle so much in 2018 until they made some changes. Well, I think it was 2020. They gave it more of a flattened profile versus like I think the one that's behind Eric. I think that's a post 2020 change where it's more rounded. I think.
It looks like it.
Yeah, that's 2021. Yeah, it's not as pointy.
Yeah, nice bumper. The round shaped bumper. So I should do that.
That was poll.
But yeah. So that'll do it for the famous iceberg poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. All right, so we've held this off long enough, boys. Xfinity. The Xfinity race happened. Austin Hill wins. Look, all right, let's get through this really quick. Austin Hill wins. Nothing. Shocker. Then Justin Allgaier said something about
he parked it like he said he did.
He did.
But let's talk about Josh Williams, y'all. Let's get right into it. So for those who were living under a rock and didn't see what happened, Josh Williams had a piece of bare bond just completely leave his car. It was super windy out there.
Under
it was
caution.
hard to keep it on there. Under caution. Yes, under caution for the record. And as a result, he was told to park it by the NASCAR officials. So he did park it. He followed the rules. He followed the rules and parked it, but it just so happened to be right at the start-finish line under caution. and walked back to his car.
He knew darn well they weren't going to like that.
Yeah, and he gave the peace sign and everything.
Okay,
and then
I wasn't the only one who, real quick, I wasn't the only one who thought he didn't give the peace sign, right? I thought
at
we all
first I
knew
thought
what
he
we were
was
thinking he was
out.
throwing
yeah,
back to.
And I don't know if Noah is still in the chat, but Noah Lewis had a film, and he moved his phone out of the way. I think he thought he was flipping him off, but he wasn't.
And shout out to Noah Lewis. He was at the right place at the right time. Had to be on pit lane as all that was going down. And then the funniest part to me, one of the greatest quotes of all time. What are they gonna do? Find me? Can't afford to pay it. And then Wendy Venturini, or I think that's her name. Yeah, Wendy Venturini. Yeah, she was about to interview him, and she asked him, "You ready?" And then he says, "Oh yeah, baby."
but then Regan Smith stepped in and said, "No, they're not going to let us.
No, we can't let you." And then he does a little, do it for me.
And then he got kidnapped and put in jail for 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
he was in timeout.
He did not collect $200.
He was in timeout, but but they fed him a lot of Papa John's pizza.
Yes, they gave him more Papa John's than my subscribers got for a couple of years.
That's right. I forgot about that. But yeah, look, and as a result, so Josh Williams was stuck in the hauler for the rest of the race. And then as soon as he came out to a lot of media attention, including from me and Danny. We were waiting. We were the first ones waiting.
How long were y'all waiting there?
Hey, right, side note. Let me just say, we got there. We were first in line at it was probably like
15 laps to go, I think, or 10
15 laps to go. And we stood there for at least over an hour. We're first in line right at the exit of the hauler. And the line starts with us. Everyone starts coming in. I think I looked back. I saw Weaver. I saw the guy from Front Stretch. I saw Dustin Long, Bob Pockris, Jim Utter. Quite a few of them are there. And then there's Jordan Bianchi hanging over at the side. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, Bianchi's going to get this, ain't he? Because what happens? They come out, they see all of us, and they go out the side door. So we all had to run to the side.
Yeah, we all start running and trying to get the scoop. But afterwards, he was obviously a lot more cooler headed than 4 hours before. And he was like, "Yep, I'm sorry, I didn't agree with it at the time, but hey, it's in the rule books, and I'm sure I'll be hearing about it from them on Tuesday." And then yesterday it was announced Josh Williams suspended for just one race, happens to be COTA, but no fine at all. So he just gets a week vacation and more attention than he ever asked before.
I'm just going to be honest. He come out very good on this. He doesn't have to go to race a road course that he probably wasn't going to have the greatest finish at. Someone else gets to hop into the car and could potentially get the car better in the owner's points. And he now has grown his brand way more than it ever was. I guarantee he might not be able to race NASCAR this weekend. He's probably got an offer to go race something like a dirt late model or something this weekend. Someone wants him in a car this weekend.
I want to say this. You know what this has all the energy of to me, especially since I told him to park it and he parked it on the front stretch, is like when a kid is told to do something by their parents, they find the loophole, get in trouble, say, "I did what you told me to," and they say, "It's not what you said, it's how you said it." That's the because you it's like one of those, you damn well know that you're doing this wrong, you're doing this terrible, you probably should have gotten some kind of penalty for the action you did. But I just love the fact that you need to park the car, sir. Yes, sir. Parks it right at the finish line. I just love the fact that Antonio Brown tweeted it out.
Yeah, and I was just about to say that too. Antonio Brown happened to say, because I put something in one of our group chats, and I was like, "Damn, this is our version of Antonio Brown." And then 10 minutes later, all of a sudden, oh, there he is again. Antonio Brown tweeting about it. He later deleted it, but the internet, nothing's ever really deleted, right? So just screenshotted that. But yeah, and then it was trending on Twitter as well. So I don't know. I think Josh Williams got off. I wouldn't say he got off totally scot-free. He is suspended, but hey, it doesn't have to pay a fine, and he gets all this attention. The most attention he's ever gotten. I don't know. What do you think, Eric? Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how the suspension's going to affect him. It obviously hurts the driver points, but the team's going to put a pretty good driver with Alex LeBay behind the wheel. So owner points wise, the team might end up okay out of all this.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I think, when they first announced the suspension, in my head, I'm like, that's harsh. I wouldn't have gone quite that harsh. But more that I think about it, considering Josh Williams' situation, it may be okay for Josh. He's probably not going to, hate it too much. I thought the problem, here's the way I see this, is the call that NASCAR made to what was funny.
Someone said he got paid in exposure.
Yeah, that's true.
Very much so.
I thought NASCAR made a bad call Saturday night. I think it was an over-enforcement, overreaction. They needed sort of someone to sort of scapegoat for how disastrous the first 40, really the first like 80 laps of that race were going. And so they enforced a rule that they never enforced. And so I got why Josh Williams was upset. He absolutely deserves a penalty for parking his car on a hot racetrack, walking off without any officials or safety personnel there to escort him. Absolutely, that deserves a penalty, no doubt. But I thought NASCAR choosing to suspend him rather than fining him, which Denny Hamlin might have paid off. I thought that was kind of harsh, but like you said, Danny, he might be fine missing a week. The team might be okay with it with Alex LeBay driving. They could have a top 10 run this weekend, which I don't know how good of a road racer Josh Williams is. I think he's okay.
He's a short track guy.
Chastain was put in that car last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good point. So I think I think the team will be fine, but the exposure is definitely good. And I saw Josh was selling those. I was shocked by this when I looked this morning, but he tweeted out that pretty cool T-shirt design. And all the proceeds are going towards different charities that Josh Williams has worked with. But that one tweet had like 5,000 likes, 300,000 or 400,000 impressions at the time.
He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Cash in on this.
Yeah.
Well, that's not even him cashing in. I just thought it was the attention, the fact that it's lingered. Sorry.
I say cash in, but cash in for the right cause.
Yeah. But the fact that the attention is stuck pretty well for now, we're 4 days removed from the race and people are still sort of murmuring about it. It's kind of lame because at the end of the day, what did he do? He didn't really do anything. He just parked his car and walked off.
He made a statement to the man.
But exactly. And NASCAR fans, I think more so than fans in any other sport, love when you stick it to the people in power. It's a lot of anti-government, anti-authority. It's, you stick it to NASCAR. We love you. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's that rebel, mentality that outlaw
very
mentality.
Rebellious.
It's drawn out. What I've noticed in my comment section, I'm sure you guys probably noticed this too. It draws out that crowd always says, "I stopped watching NASCAR years ago."
These are the decisions that are putting NASCAR in the ground.
Yeah, but I did see that clip of him on Twitter on Door Bumper Clear. They're like, so what was it like in there? So I asked them, "Can I get my backpack?" No. Can I get something to eat? No. Can I get something to drink? No. Can I get my phone? No. It was just constant nothing. Sit there. Can I watch the race? No. They just told him no on everything.
Damn.
Can I breathe?
Good.
Partially.
But no, Josh Williams though, he's definitely taking advantage of this. I think his Twitter grew from like 12K to like 26,000 in less than a week.
Oh, and side note, the spotter Josh Williams, I think he said, "Let's just make it clear it was the driver, not me."
And also, fun fact: the spotter was Reed Sorensen, former Xfinity driver, Georgia native. It was Reed Sorensen.
I did hear he was Josh Williams' spotter.
Yeah, and go ahead.
He went into, I guess he went down there, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, I hear you get stuck down here." Oh, wait, they didn't call you down? No, they didn't call me down. I'm free. Because usually they call the crew chief, the owner, and the spotter.
Everybody.
The NASCAR hauler, and I guess they just want the crew chief and the owner.
I mean,
the hauler.
In this kind of situation, those guys couldn't stop that from happening.
But also, though, Reed Sorensen, I mean, he let them know, or I don't know if it was his spotter or his crew chief, but one of them let him know, like, hey, like, so they're parking you. I don't know why. Hey, do what you got to do, basically. That's
Well,
what
it's
they
not-
were
yeah.
implying a little bit. Yeah,
They were like,
"Hey,
it
do
sounded like
whatever."
there was a lot of silence when Josh explained it. He said like, so wait, I'm parked, and they kind of just didn't say anything because they were probably arguing with the official.
And he said, "Hey, do what
And
you want
then-
here. Do what you want."
yeah.
Like, okay, and he took that to
Well.
heart. Took that to heart.
It
Hey,
was
but you
memorable.
know- but yeah,
it was the most
exactly.
memorable. It was the most entertaining part of Saturday. I
Yeah.
would say
because the racing certainly wasn't. That was
So,
until the end was okay. But
I just gotta say this. There was so many cautions that Claudia left about midway before stage 2, just before the Josh Williams thing, and she went to the Hawaiian, the special edition Hawaiian themed Chick-fil-A that has a different menu than most other Chick-fil-A's, which was 25 minutes away from the Speedway. She went there, ordered us food, drove back 25 minutes, and got there just as stage 3 was beginning because that's how many cautions there was.
Oh boy.
wow, those Chick-fil-A drive-thrus are fast, so that also probably
Hey,
helped.
now that Chick-fil-A specifically though, the best one. That's my most
Because
favorite.
we had chicken tacos, like
Yeah, I've always wanted
some
to
kind
try
of
that.
special pineapple,
Yeah.
famed nuggets and
And
sweet
it's not
potato
called
fries.
Chick-fil-A, right? It's named after like the owner or the founder. or
It's
something.
called Truett's Luau.
Yeah. There you go. So
Yeah.
it sneaks up on you. If you don't know what you're looking for, you won't see it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think that's that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think that's. I just wanted to say, at one point, like I ran down to my car, like fixed something underneath the dash, came back up, and we were still in the caution because the cautions
Yeah.
were so long too. So I didn't miss any. I mean, I had it on my phone too, but I didn't miss anything. Like
Yeah.
I went and picked up a pizza. So
Yeah, like basically, I mean, is there anything left to really talk about as far as the Xfinity race is concerned? I mean, like Josh Williams, he stole the show, and then Austin Hill wins again, and then now Daniel Hemrick though, and Kligerman, they both wrecked towards the end there.
yeah.
But
And I felt bad for my boy Brennan Poole. Had a good top
Yeah.
15. He still finished top 15, but ended up destroying a
Yeah.
car.
yeah.
That was a shame. But
So yeah,
Yeah.
the Xfinity race happened, and then
okay, can we talk about the really quick the Garrett Smithley throwing a
go
spotter under
ahead.
the bus?
Go ahead.
That's
That
right.
was-
I just
Oh,
thought
yeah.
it was,
That was funny.
I at least figured we'd honorable mention.
I'm on Smithley's side on that one.
I mean I don't know. My thing is Garrett Smithley's had a few of these moments.
yeah,
now
not
in
the
his
first
career.
time. Kansas
the first-
2019.
Okay, moment
Kansas
by
2019.
moment, I'm gonna go with him on this one because I felt like
Yeah.
what I heard of it sounds like he was told to go up there.
Wait a
I think
minute,
the
that's right.
spotter kind of missed it a little bit, but yeah.
he was the one
What?
at Kansas in 2019.
Yeah, that's what I just
I
said.
was
yeah.
there. How
Oh,
did
yeah,
that?
you were out there.
No, I was like, man, I swear to God, I thought I've seen him do something.
Yeah, it did.
I was
Yeah, it
there.
did.
I remember
As a
my
matter
dad
of
and I.
fact.
I remember my dad and I both watching that. And he's coming out. They're coming out of the corner, and my dad and I both are leaning over like, that doesn't look right. That's not good. That's not, oh no!
Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't mean to
man.
throw him under the bus, but it was just
Well, no, he's
I
got
saw
a
he
history.
apologized on Twitter later for how he kind of
Yeah.
reacted, and I just wanted to at least mention it because it was his first
Nah.
race with JD Motorsports since they effectively bought out that 4-car.
Mhm.
So
No, it's
not a great start.
understandable. Yeah, not a great
to
start
this-
for him.
Hey,
This is
Yeah.
what, his third
but-
time with the team or something? Right,
Something
Eric?
like that. He's been
Yeah.
there
But-
before.
Well, let me just say this: that happened with Garrett Smithley. The old driver of that 4-car went and got a top 5 in the
Oh,
truck race.
Yeah, I was proud of Bailey. He
Yep.
ended up 4th in a
And-
Nice truck. Good for him.
And that's a perfect segue. Christian Eckes wins. Is this his first
Christian
win of the
Eckes?
season? Or how do you say it?
Eckes, that's right.
Eckes. I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
You're
right.
really pronouncing the K. Eckes.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, he
Sorry.
put a T in there.
No, Darren's
Oh
not
my
used
God.
to it without hearing it like this. Christian Eckes.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's
Eckes.
we miss you, bro. We miss you. But nah, he scores a win. His first win for Bill McNally Racing in the 19. Tough battle between him and Nick Sanchez, which Nick Sanchez give him props. I mean, he missed a gear. I thought his day was over, and then comes back and ends up finishing second. So good run for
Yeah.
him.
I'd
Yeah,
like
gotta
Nick
give
Sanchez of the handful. We've talked a lot about Raja Karuth. We all like Raja,
But he's one
he's been
who's
solid.
he's
But
really
Nick,
solid.
yeah, Nick Sanchez has been one of the drivers that's come out of Rev Racing, and like
Mhm.
he's exceeding my expectations so
Well,
far. So I was happy
also,
to see him run well.
remember too, he does have, I believe, a couple of ARCA wins. He has
Yeah,
at
I
least
think
one
so.
ARCA win. He has at least one at Kansas. I know.
I think he has a couple, but I'll look it up because now I'm curious.
But he has
Maybe
at
I'm-
least
yeah.
he has at least one ARCA win. And yeah, he's already I mean, he has Gamebridge as the as a title as a sponsor for his team. It's got a lot going on for him so far. So really interesting to see how they
He
progress
won-
throughout the season.
He won 3 ARCA races last year.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
See?
That's,
So yeah,
that's
he's already proven his worth. Proven his worth so far. But I mean, the Truck Series race, I mean, anything really happened of any special? I mean, like, it was just another super speedway truck race to me. So
It happened.
yeah.
yeah, it
was good.
happened.
I didn't see the
came and
first
went.
half of the race. I only saw
You
the
didn't
end,
miss
the
much.
finish.
Came and went.
Yeah, you didn't
All
miss
right.
much.
Nah. We are now at that point in the show. Oh my goodness, it is already 8:30 here. But
90
you know
minutes
what?
in.
Hey, you know what? You know what though? We didn't really have too much to talk about tonight, other than the racing that took place last
Well, and the
week.
racing coming up, of course.
Yeah. And I'm getting to that, and the racing coming up, of course. But first, we have reached that point in the show. We are now at the first super chat stage break of the night. So I'm about to
Gotcha.
start off reading super chats. Yep. And as soon as I start off, begin the timer. YouTube community standards. Oh God, please don't delete my channel, please. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says Boo, Harvick, and Logano. Oh, here we go. Off to a great start.
Wow.
Alex
That's
Luff.
that's a good way to violate the YouTube community standards.
Alex Luff, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Right before
Wow.
the show, too. Very dedicated fan base. Really appreciate it. Joey Logano is like how the rated R superstar Edge was in his prime. When you think you're rid of him, you hear his music. He comes out with the sick, sadistic look in his eyes, and before you know it, spear. Or in this case, last lap pass. Yeah.
Dude, when I think of Joey Logano, I think of sick and sadistic.
I think of giggles.
I think yeah, basically.
Now,
Or make-
now I'm just gonna have to imagine Joey Logano always coming out to Edge's music. On this day, I see clearly.
Oh, you're gonna love this name. Americans Against Mike Joy. Thank you so much for the $2.
No!
super chat.
No!
We're not,
We
no,
do
we're
not
not
approve.
against him. We're not against him, bro. Oh my God. Yeah,
We are
but,
not endorsed by this group.
But it says Boo Harvick and Boo corporate hack Mike Joy. Oh God.
Whoa,
Whoa.
what?
We do not endorse that message.
Chill out, bro. Relax.
No.
You'll get some-
No.
No. We love Mike Joy, bro. All right.
There's gonna be someone do a poor edit and say like they're gonna cut out what I just said and make it
Hey,
sound like
Mike Joy.
Yeah. Barney the Dinosaur, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I love you. You love me. Let's get together and boo Harvick. Oh no. and I'm not done. With a great big jeer and kiss from me to you. No, we know you hate Harvick too. Yeah. So
The
obviously a lot
super
of
chats
Harvick
on
hate.
your channel are wacky, Darius.
These
Yeah.
are the keyboard
and-
warriors.
And we are not done yet. We are not done yet because we have Jar Jar Binks with the next two super chats. Two $6 super chats combined. I really appreciate it. Misa back now, so Wisa gonna boo these hypocrite and cheater boy Harvick, these corporate hack Mike. Oh gosh, so it's the same things. It's the same things. And then the
We
second
know-
one says these Atlanta race was bad. Last year is better. Boo Kevin Harvick.
We now know who the leader
That
of that
sounds
last
about
group
right.
is.
Anti-establishment NASCAR fans or something.
Yeah, for real. And then Isaac with the $5 super chat. Why Kenseth is the GOAT? Ooh, Eric, you're gonna love this. He did God's work in 2015, taking out the two-faced hack known as Joey Logano.
One more.
Oh, and it also led to Jeff Gordon's final win as well. Haha. And then for the last one, shout out to Eric W for becoming an official BFM channel member, but also gifting 10 different BFM channel memberships. Thank you so much, bro. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
that'll do it. So that'll do it for this first edition of the Super Chat Stage Break. But we are now getting at that point in the show. The weather's been a little chaotic, hasn't it? It's been a little
Andy, join in.
chaotic.
You gotta go
But
with the flow.
I think I'm getting something, and it's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Hopefully the mic didn't blow out.
It did.
Jared, what do you have on
Not
tap?
that bad though.
Well, we got a little bit here. Let's roll through this. So earlier in the weekend, It was announced that Kevin Harvick would drive the white and red number 29 car that was the same scheme that he drove for his first win after replacing Dale Earnhardt in 2001 and throughout that entire season.
Very cool.
Christopher Bell will be running the number 61 for Hattori at North Wilkesboro. This one blew my mind here.
This was a big story, actually.
I guess one of Jeremy Clement's crew members was caught stealing and selling VIP passes. Has been fined $25,000 and indefinitely suspended.
So I didn't know until that was actually a thing that was made illegal until recently. And I texted Jerry Jordan about this when I saw this article, and I said, I don't want to say who it was because it's 6 years ago. It doesn't matter at this point. But someone prominent on a team once, before I was ever doing YouTube, once offered to sell me hot passes. And now I look back at that, it's like, ooh, I'm glad that I didn't go for that, and I'm glad that they didn't do that. Well, I'm sure that they might have done that for somebody, but
I'd seen people like selling them in the past as parts of different things. I don't know how it works. I don't know what the rule is now, but it's not something I have to sell, so I don't have any to sell if I wanted to, so it's okay.
And I will say this: I couldn't really tell who it was, but at one point, so there's a difference between the VIP pass and an essential pass. An essential pass is more like a weekend hard card to go do work that you need to do. I saw one person with an essential pass just out getting autographs. I thought that was kind of interesting, but
yeah.
Well, another thing to add on. I don't know how to segue out of that one, but another way to move on here is with some Trackhouse news and possibly both Ross Chastain news. Trackhouse is still the odds-on favorite to land Anheuser-Busch starting in 2024. So. Man, SHR is really going that RFK.
Damn.
Route.
Yeah. I want to see Ross Chastain in flannel become the new Bush guy.
Well, speaking of Ross Chastain, he will be commemorating his first win that was at this race a year ago by dropping a watermelon off the COTA observation tower. And now I'm really wishing I would have been there. Credit to Jeff Gluck for tweeting that one out. Derek Kraus will be driving the number 10 colleague car at Richmond's Xfinity race.
Very interesting. This is the chance of a lifetime.
Very good opportunity for him.
I was surprised to read it, but I'm happy for him. I hope he does well.
Interesting timing after the truck race this year. Yeah. McDonald's will be the sponsor of the Chicago street race, according to Adam Stern.
Yeah. Are they based in Chicago?
They are. I feel like landing a Chicago-based company might help save that a little bit.
Well, I don't know. Do Chicago? What are they called in Chicago? Do Chicago citizens view McDonald's as like a local company? I don't know.
Dude, I avoided Chicago.
McDonald's.
It would look
Chicago. Okay.
It would look bad on the city of Chicago to shut down an event that already has a huge national company backing it that is based there in Chicago.
We'll see how long it lasts, though.
So 2 other things. Before the show, I told the 3 hosts that I was going to read this. I wanted to see their genuine reactions. I might have talked about it before, but still, it's fun to talk about. So this I found on NASCAR Reddit from user Michael Waltrip's Taco. And he was saying this about plans in the early 2000s that NASCAR and different people in power had floated out there originally that they thought they could do at the time. And one of them, of course, I have to bring Chicagoland into it, was Chicagoland Speedway was actually designed to have the possibility of expansion in mind for the grandstands, with the final stage being an expansion that, quote, would consist of a Bristol Coliseum-type seating capacity completely surrounding the speedway. Which is a mile and a half, 3 times the size of Bristol.
It's around a whole mile and a half.
That would have been bold.
To be fair, Michigan, when it was at its biggest, had seats all the way to turn 2, and only the backstretch was clear. So
Texas had seats all the way down the backstretch and pretty far into turns 1 and turns 4. So
but it's just with the knowledge we have now, it is really interesting. It's interesting to see the ideas had back then. I would love to see more of those ideas because. Like 20 years from now, NASCAR, for all we know, NASCAR could be bigger in 20 years than it was in the 2000s. We've seen in 20 years the difference. I would love to see the frame of mind that everyone was in back then with these kind of ideas. So I just thought that was really cool to put. And then one last thing, to remind everybody out there, we've gotten a lot of entries so far, but you have until April 19th to get your top 75 drivers of all time. list planned out. Cup driver.
Wish we had that long.
Yeah. The hosts only have till April 5th. So
I already turned mine in. I got my homework done.
I'll submit mine at 11:59 p.m. before the due date.
I'm gonna ask to just take 10 points off mine.
Take 10 points off Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Everyone
Take
gets
a late
deducted
grade.
10 places. But yeah, you can do that to weeklypodcastguest@gmail.com. I will be keeping track of all of these. But April 19th is the hard cutoff deadline for all y'all in the chat. So if you want to send it in, send it on in.
Yep, send it. And I think that'll about do it. And that'll do it for this edition of the famous lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
That's weeklypodcastguest@gmail.com, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I'm
Don't-
putting that in the chat.
Yeah, just put that in the chat.
Don't ask to be a guest. You will be.
Oh, yeah.
We don't do guests anymore.
Yeah, we're past the guest era over on our show. But yeah.
Next week we'll be joined by
JK, if we really had the right thing, maybe.
We do need to get another guest on at some point.
It's been a while. Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah, we're not totally against it, but we like doing the show by ourselves, a little bit more. No.
We're
But
grown up now.
yeah, we're all grown up. And wow, we are now at that point in the show where we now get to preview this weekend's action. COTA, dude, Circuit of the Americas. I've been looking forward to this race for a while now. Oh man, just so much of note. First off, for the first time in the NASCAR Cup Series since 2016, no stage yellows.
That's no stage yellows for those listening on audio.
Oh, I'm sorry. No stage yellows. I'm sorry about that.
You got a little too excited.
Sorry, I got a little too excited.
I heard like no stage shows. That's what I heard.
No stage show. All right. So, anyways, in case you didn't hear me, no stage yellows. That's how excited I was. And now this is interesting as well. Choose rule will be used on a road course. That'll be interesting. I'm really curious to see how that'll shake up the lineups. And then the 2022 restart zone size will be used starting this week.
Yes, they're shortening it back up again after 5 weeks of
So they're going to they're going to shorten it back up again.
So
And
with no stages, I feel like, no stage cautions. I feel like NASCAR is going to have that button on the trigger, just waiting for anything that's worth
just
it.
waiting. They are. You already know they are. We've seen them do it how many times this year? Like twice, 3 times, I think. So you already know.
all the cameras will be on the porta potties. They're gonna miss everything.
But we have a triple header weekend, trucks, Xfinity, and then Cup. Let's go over them. So the Truck Series race, the name for the Truck Series race, the XPEL 220. Thank you. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm just like
Expel. I was like, I didn't know. Yeah, expel. So the
You're
expel.
expelled.
Yeah,
Expelliarmus.
So the Expel 225. The Expel 225. A total of 42 laps. The weather. Okay, yeah. So it's supposed to take place on Saturday. 82 degrees. Mostly sunny with only a 2% chance of rain.
Sounds like Austin, Texas to me.
Yes. And the winner of the Truck Series race last year was Zane Smith. Now for the Xfinity Series race, the Pit Boss 250, a total of 48 laps. The start time for this race is 5 p.m. Eastern time on FS1 and PRN. The weather for this, same day, so Saturday, 82 degrees, mostly sunny with a 2% chance of rain. The defending race winner is AJ Allmendinger. Now, really quick, Jared, I didn't see a time for the truck race. I'm assuming it starts before or after.
Before.
Okay,
it should
right,
be. I believe it's at 2 Eastern time. I wanna say.
Okay, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and yeah, same channel.
I could be
FS1.
wrong.
Yeah, same channel FS1, and you can listen to it on PRN.
Let me double check just to be sure. Last thing I do is tell people when it is, and then be wrong.
Yeah, if we need to correct it, then I'll definitely correct it. As for the
1:30 p.m.
1:30. Yes, and on
time.
FS1 and PRN.
MRN.
Oh, MRN. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, 1:30 Eastern time for the Truck Series race. You can watch it on FS1 and listen to it on MRN. And finally, the Cup Series race taking place on Sunday. The Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix, a total of 68 laps. Damn, one short from 69. Come on, just add that 69 laps.
Nice.
Come on now. The start time is 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on Fox, and you can listen to it on PRN, the Performance Racing Network. Race will be. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, can I add something to that time real quick?
Yes.
Thought this was interesting. Just a little plug for what I'm doing this weekend. So the Bassmasters Classic Fishing Tournament is in Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll be there helping cover that. That's actually going to get some time on Big Fox right before the Cup race. So if you want to watch something else, there'll be bass fishing from 12 to 3, and then immediately after that, NASCAR. So lots of stuff to watch there.
Nice. And this is the biggest fishing event of the year.
That's
correct?
the Super Bowl of bass fishing.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll have to tune in myself. Definitely.
The Daytona 500 of bass fishing.
Yeah.
Yes, if you will.
Yes. The race will be taking place on Sunday at 81 degrees, sunny with some clouds, but this time a 25% chance of rain. So be on the lookout for those weather concerns. And now really quick, moving on to the NASCAR. Wait, hold on. Give me a second. Oh, sorry. We're not at that point yet. I almost forgot. No, we have to get to the betting odds first, the famous betting odds of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, and then the Fantasy League. I'm sorry. I'm happy. I'm just a heads up. I won all of my stuff over the weekend, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, so as for the famous betting odds on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, yes, the favorites for this weekend, Kyle Larson enters in as the favorite at plus 650, Ross Chastain plus 800, as well as Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick plus 900, and William Byron plus 1200. As for the best of the rest, AJ Allmendinger plus 1200, Ryan Blaney plus 1500, Daniel Suarez, Austin Cindric, and Christopher Bell are also plus 1500. And now the famous underdog segment. I'm loving this. Alex Bowman almost won this race a season ago, plus 2,000. Jordan Taylor plus 4,000. It'd be very interesting. He's making his NASCAR debut in the Chase Elliott Napa 9 Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports. Kimi Räikkönen plus 5,000, as well as Jimmy Johnson. And finally, Jenson Button, another former Formula One world champion, is entering this weekend at plus 10,000. So very interesting betting odds for this weekend. And really quick, moving on to the famous NASCAR Weekly Podcast Fantasy League. I won by a pretty huge margin, so I moved up in points. But in the main league, sitting in P1, ladies and gentlemen, Danny the wife, Claudia, is leading the points. And
I'm married to the points leader.
Yeah, she's married to the point. He's married to the point.
At least somebody in that house isn't near the basement.
And she is the only one so far in the first league that has over 1,000 points. So solid start to the season.
Dang.
In second is Toyota Tough. Third is in third place is Recky Spenhouse. In fourth is Black Flags Matter. Me, that weekend did pay dividends. I'm now top 5 in the point standings. It's great to not be in the basement in some place. And finally, rounding out the top 5 is the NASCAR Bear. No, not the cocaine bear, the NASCAR Bear. So good movie, by the way. Funny movie. And as for the NWP Fantasy League 2, the second fantasy league, we have the same results or similar results as last week. Oh no, ... We suck again. Blaney's Pit Crew currently in the lead, followed by Racer Roar 48. And third is Girly Man 05. In fourth, Black Flags Matter. I'm fourth in both leagues, baby. Let's go. Consistency is key. Yep, consistency is key. And rounding out the top 5 is unofficial Illinois representative John Wise, not Josh Wise. It says John Wise. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for playing, and we will continue to play throughout the season.
Yeah,
but now down to this is Eric's most favorite segment. It's not really mine anymore for obvious reasons, but we got to keep playing it. Still got a long season to go. It's not over. But
it's time or something.
No.
Oh, I thought he froze us dead. I was like, wait a minute. Oh my God.
No, he's just looking like a madman.
He's happy. Yes, right now in the pick points, Eric Estep. Eric, 108 points. You are now 20 points ahead of the chat.
Truly a dominating season.
Yeah, very dominant start. Oh, it's too hot. Yes, cool them off, boys. Cool them off. Exactly. In P3 is Jarrett. He is minus 25. Danny B in fourth, minus 30. And once again, your boy, Darian Gilliam, a.k.a. Black Lives Matter, a.k.a. your favorite basement boy of all time, is sitting minus 33. So I'm close, but I'm still in the basement. So, yeah.
I think
But
my
yeah,
goal is
nice.
to get a crazy face from all of you and myself. I already got one from Darian, and that will just change the face that's in the place every week.
Yeah. Now let's do that. Yeah, you had a ton of crazy faces
I don't know.
tonight.
I don't
Definitely.
know what to put other than the logo of the show for now on the chat. But once I know what to put for the chat, there will be something there.
I feel like something like Jar Jar Binks would even be a good representative.
That can
Yeah,
be a
why not?
placeholder, but I want to see if we can get a real we can just get something that screams chat. Maybe because he's
Yeah.
gifting all the memberships, we'll just put Eric W's logo for a week.
And again, thank you, Eric W, for the gifting the channel memberships. Really appreciate
He's
it.
awesome.
Yeah. All right. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Picks. Eric, you go start us off. Who is going to win the Truck Series race?
So I'm going to leave myself a little vulnerable with some of these picks tonight. Well, at least one of these picks. This guy is not racing every single week, but he's in a competitive truck this week. He's driving for Tricon Garage, and this is a dude who kind of got on everyone's map at there's the Daytona road course in 2020 when he stepped into an RCR car, no prior Cup experience, and finished top 10. Kaz Grala quietly, usually in B or C tier level equipment, is sneaking into the top 5, the top 10 at road courses in the Xfinity and Truck Series. He's driving for Tricon. I think Kaz Grala, who actually ran the Cup race here last year for the money team, I think Kaz Grala wins the truck race.
I'm going to go with the guy who ran this race last year, was up front going for the win. I nearly picked him actually last year. But I think I'm going to give him this a try this time around with the way that different rides have swapped in the Truck Series. I'm going to go with Alex Bowman this week. I think that the 7 is going to win the truck race, and this great start to the season for Spire continues. Or at least Spire affiliates.
A lot of similar reasons to what Jarrett just said. I think I was debating between Alex and Kyle Busch. KBM being in the Chevy, they'll still have a good truck. I don't know if it's going to be quite what they need for the road course, and I'm going to go with Bowman to pick up the win.
Yeah, so you guys read my mind, or since I'm in the basement, I read y'all's mind. But Alex Bowman is my Truck Series pick.
What do we have in the chat?
And we have, he gifted even more memberships. Thank you so much, Eric W.
Wow,
Oh my goodness.
I just realized, though, they gave the 3 of us a good chance to catch up on Eric.
Yes.
Come on,
yes,
Kaz. You got this. Come on, baby.
I think the poll should be between Zane and Kyle Busch.
All right.
That seems to be the most even of them.
Yeah, I'll make sure to start a poll. Poll. So you said between who again? Say it again.
38 and 51.
All right, 38 and 51. All right, I will put that up.
As we do that, we'll go to Xfinity.
Yep, and while the chat does that, Xfinity picks. Guys, who is going to win the Xfinity Series race on Saturday?
This one, I mean, last year this would have probably been a really safe pick, but this year he's not full-time in this series, but it's still a colleague car. I think AJ Allmendinger is going to win the Xfinity race.
Yeah, I agree with Eric. This is kind of like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. He's going to come back and he's going to dominate the series in the road. I mean, come on. Last year, I picked him for Portland, and I left the media center at Gateway sitting next to Danny, and he's like, "Yeah, sorry, buddy. Looks like my pick's going to beat you this time. Like, AJ's already 2 laps down." I get to the hotel. AJ's up, like, that's an hour away. AJ's in 5th when I turn the TV on. So I can never bet against AJ Allmendinger in these cars in this series.
You know who was ahead and looking better at that time? Someone, you talk about Return to King. No, Return to Champ. Ty Gibbs is in this race in the 19 car. I'm going to Ty Gibbs to win this race.
Pick.
Yep, we have a certain amount of Cup drivers in the field, but I'm surprised nobody picked this one, though. I think William Byron is on track to score the victory on Saturday in the 17th.
We're all going Cup guys. Gosh, damn. Leeches.
I mean, there's 4 Cup guys in this race. So
yeah,
Eric Almirola is in the 08 too.
All right.
Chad, pick Almirola. Do it.
Okay.
They're saying the 10. They're saying no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're picking AJ for sure, so they're sticking with me and Eric. But I will say, Darian, when the vote goes to an odd number, end the poll, because then it'll give you which one is the most ahead. So
nope, I just did. Hold on. Just did.
You ended on an even number.
was just at 51. No, that was a last second switch. The 38 was at 51. I swear to God, that 38 was at 51.
Well, it's even now. We got to do it again.
Oh my God.
Run it again.
The 38 was at 51.
New poll. Run it again.
How did it change that quickly? My God.
You messed up. Stop the count.
Oh my gosh. I
Stopped.
swear it's at 51. And then it just automatically switches to like 50 as soon as I click something. I'm like, oh, so let me ask y'all again. All right. Now for Xfinity, who did they pick for Xfinity?
Dinger.
AJ.
Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah, I figured they would do that. Okay, now moving on to our cup picks. Eric, who's gonna suck this weekend at COTA?
I wrote some notes down. I didn't really write much for this one. I'll just go Austin Dillon. He's not usually he's improved, but he's not usually a contender on road courses.
A Pac-Man. What? Nobody remember that reference? It's Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the little Pac-Man car.
Jimmy, you think he's gonna suck? Oh, Jared, come on, you can't do this.
I remember everything after 2016. It's like a telltale game. Jarrett remembers that every time Jimmy wrecks. Jarrett remembered that.
Hey, but remember when he wrecked at the Roval while battling for the win?
Yeah, he didn't win though.
Come on now.
He didn't win the race.
Yeah, he still wrecked at the Roval.
He also got eliminated from the playoffs in that wreck.
Yeah.
Such a high for this guy last year. I'm going to tell you what. I don't see it going well 2 years in a row. I'm actually going to say Ross Chastain to suck in this one.
Ooh,
bold.
That's
bold pick.
That might be even hotter than your troll take at the beginning of this.
I mean, how many people are going to be on his radar at this point?
Well, we'll see. My who's going to suck pick. He's been doing it all year. Not because of any fault of his own, but Ryan Preece. Something's going to happen to that car. It always does, whether it's his fault or not, unfortunately. So that's a pretty easy who's going to suck pick. And as for the chat, I'm assuming it's Eric Almirola.
And you can end the poll now because Kyle Busch went ahead.
Well, there we go. Now we have a clear winner.
And it's 158 votes again.
We had to go to a runoff.
Yeah. So Kyle Busch, yep, their truck pick. And yeah. Okay. So now the underdog, Eric, who is your underdog for COTA?
Underdog, I'm going Jordan Taylor. And I'll be honest, I thought about picking him to win this race, especially at those odds you showed earlier, Darian. And speaking of which, Jenson Button at plus 10,000. I don't know if those odds are still that way, but that's
Well, he is in a Rick Ware racing car as well, though.
But it's Stuart Haas.
I know. Yeah. Good point.
That gap is getting smaller, though.
I would consider if your preferred betting partner offers it, I would look into his odds for a top 10 and deeply consider it.
Yeah,
but I'm going to go Jordan Taylor. I just think he's obviously the reserve driver for Garage 56, which means he's gotten a lot of next-gen experience. He's a great sports car racer. We know that. And I think these these cup cars handle closer to, IMSA cars than ever before. So I think there's a lot that plays into Jordan Taylor. I don't think he's just your run-of-the-mill Cup Series rookie. I think he's actually going to be he's not going to fire off immediately in contention. I wouldn't be shocked if he's 20th in practice, but I think come, lap 40, lap 50, lap 60, he'll be running top 5 lap times. It'll be at least in the top 10. That's my guess.
Okay.
For mine, I'm going with a guy last year that I think kind of got burned more because of stages and stage cautions. And since that's not going to be in the way this year, I think this guy can have more of a straightforward strategy and actually run for a win with strategy as well as speed. He ran well at road courses before, won Sonoma last year. I'm going Daniel Suarez as my little dark horse underdog pick.
A good one.
And then for my underdog pick on this one, I'm going to go with the guy who caused all that drama. No, he didn't cause the drama. He was part of it. But AJ Allmendinger made everything get a little crazy there at the end. I'm going to say AJ Allmendinger, my underdog, could steal it, but definitely a top 5 is coming his way.
You just talked about this guy. I like Jenson Button at 10,000 plus odds. Really good odds for at least a top 10 finish in a Stuart Haas Racing prep car with Rick Ware Racing as well. So Jenson Button is my personal underdog pick. And then as for the chat, I'm assuming it's for Kimmy. I see a lot of 91s. Nobody else has picked Kimmy yet, so we'll just go with that. All right, cool. All right, now for the main event, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win at COTA, points leader?
This was a really tough one. So if you guys remember last year, did I sweep this weekend? I don't remember if I swept this weekend in picks, but I know I picked the cup winner correctly. And that was what helped me for a brief period pull away from the chat until the chat
I think you swept
caught up.
You swept last year, and I think I swept the first year. So this is a very sweepable weekend.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But this weekend I am so unconfident in my pick. So I'm gonna let you inside the notes a little bit here. I was thinking Tyler Reddick, because Tyler Reddick won some road course races last year. He didn't put a wheel wrong at the Indy road course, whereas everybody else embarrassed themselves in some way or another. So I was very tempted to say Reddick, but then I remember that Toyota kind of struggled on road courses last year. Maybe they figured it out. It's a new year, some slight differences here and there for sure. But I don't know that I trust Toyota enough yet to say Tyler Reddick's a clear favorite to win this race. So when it was all said and done, I decided to go back with old reliable. The guy I picked to win last year, Ross Chastain. I think he's going to win it. He had a few top 5, top 10 runs. He almost won the Indy road course race, sure on a technicality, but he was in contention at the end. I think Ross Chastain wins this weekend.
Well, speaking of old reliable, part of the reason in 2021 I did so well is because there was a reliable driver for me to pick. And this guy has, for me at least, seemed pretty fast this year. Has seemed to be a little bit better than his pace last year. Ran well at the road courses. Won some road course races. And I'm going to pick him to win. He's the odds-on favorite. I'm going Kyle Larson.
This guy was really fast last year. They had a good strategy, unloaded a lot of speed, made a lot of ground up when they started to race real fast, stayed up there a lot, and in the end was battling for it. I wore this shirt for a reason. Yep, I'm going for the first time this year. I'm picking the 48. This is the only race I intended to pick him for a long time, unless he gives me any other reason to believe he'll win another one.
You picked him twice this weekend, so that's you're getting your money's worth.
I mean, how often do I get him for a track race? So
yeah, true that. I'm going to stay within the Hendrick Motorsports camp, and Jarrett, you obviously looked at the betting odds because I am also going with Kyle Larson. He's the odds-on favorite
for sure.
Oh no, please don't say. He's the odds-on favorite, so please come in clutch for me. I'm in the basement. Get me out of the basement, bro. Come on, it's been a while. But let's go look at the chat, and I will prepare a poll because I'm
pretty mixed. But Bowman might be in the lead.
Oh, yeah. Bowman's got a lot.
He's got at least a plurality.
I would say Bowman, Dinger. I've seen a few Bells, but
all right.
Some Chastains, or Suarez.
As far as number,
we got Bowman, man of Bow. I see.
So I'm seeing the 16. I'll put them in the poll.
48.
Oh, Obama got a vote.
What about the 9 though, or is that just a few people?
I've seen a couple, but I don't know if it's enough. 99 I've seen a lot of.
Okay, 99. Okay, I have the 16, 48, 99, and I only have one more option.
Let me go up.
I'd say the 20. I've seen a few 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, go 20.
Right, let me make sure they're in numerical order. So just to go over one final time, the 16, 20, 48, and 99, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And while the poll is up, that'll conclude the pick segment for us.
I'm surprised we went that whole segment without mentioning McDowell supremacy or Chris Buescher.
Well, we have so many road course ringers,
We're so down on Ford as well, I think, right now. Even though they ran well at Atlanta, I don't think anyone's really expecting much from Ford. Everyone's kind of scared.
Yeah, not really. I mean, we don't know what type of Ford teams we're going to get this weekend. We do know for sure on super speedways they are really fast, though. At least we know that. But while the poll is going on, let's end off the show by reading the rest of the super chats. We are at the final super chat stage break of the evening. Let me scroll all the way down, and here we go. Napa Racing Fan 927, thank you for the $2 super chat. Congrats, Darian, for appearing on Fox Race Day. Thank you so much, and shout out to Table Rock and Mackenzie from Table Rock for setting that whole deal up. Really appreciate it. Very grateful. Very grateful. Hunter Nixon Fishing, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I was at the race this weekend. Definitely entertaining, but still prefer old Atlanta. Definitely cold Atlanta this weekend. Yeah, for sure. Ross Crash Dane with the $5. Brad Keselowski left the door wide open, both on and off the track. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. That is a fact.
That's funny.
That's a fact. Damn, that was smart. I can't believe nobody else thought of that. Wow. Yeah. NASCAR's son, 2414. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I was at Atlanta. I was at the Atlanta race, and other than Xfinity first stage, great race weekend. Thank you, NASCAR, for restart zones like last year, unlike Fontana race 2023. Yep, I agree. Dislocation with the $10 super chat. The cameraman was the imposter. Like Denny was shook of Brad's wand. Oh my God, it says wand. I don't know. I can't.
I have a feeling I know what he's trying to say.
I think he meant something else.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think you replaced that last letter with something else.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Sorry. Good. Thank you for the super chat.
Don't apologize to us. Apologize to the children.
Will someone think of the children?
I'm sorry. I walked into it, bro. I'm sorry.
This is a family program.
Yeah, you walked into the way Denny walked in.
Yeah. Oh boy. Marky Mark with the $5 super chat. Fox is notorious for missing spins or wrecks, but they captured Keselowski going to drop a Hawaiian roll.
Yikes.
Oh, that deserves this.
Oh my God. Lord _ Foxy 13 with the $6 Canadian super chat. I wish I could do the radio thing, but my cable provider has like a 35-second delay, so they don't sync up.
So go on PRN or MRN's website. They have it live on their website, and you can just pause it and sync it up, and that's what I did.
So it won't be perfect, but it'll definitely be closer.
Oh no, I got it perfectly. I paused. Because the TV was like maybe 20 seconds ahead for some reason. And so I just paused it. And then I heard, and they come off turn 2, Blaney ahead. And I'm like, yeah, baby, we're in business.
Cousin Rowdy with the $2 super chat. Nice to see y'all in Atlanta. See y'all in Nashville. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Rowdy Josh Racing with the $10 super chat. Lifelong fan here. Genuinely felt like I wasted my time watching Phoenix. When Harvick got NASFarted. He said NASFarted in all caps. So he got NASFarted. Makes it feel like the whole race doesn't matter when it can be ruined by one dude spinning in 28th. Oh, there's Harrison. I hate it.
I empathize. Like I agree. When too many races end like that, it does get frustrating because it negates everything you've been kind of building up for.
They may race for the same manufacturers, but Harvick fans are never letting that go.
The only thing I'll say in defense of NASCAR is that kind of thing could happen in any motorsport. The late race caution could happen in F1, late race safety car, late race caution IndyCar, and it's possible.
It's unfair, but I mean, again, like if a guy spins or blows a tire, you have to call caution. So
yeah.
Triple P Productions with the $5 super chat. What percentage do you think is people under 50 watching with parents or grandparents? I'm in my 20s, but I watch with my grandfather.
So Nielsen ratings are all calculated by, if you don't have a Nielsen box, by my understanding, you aren't factored into that number. They sample a small sample size and use that to sort of guesstimate the entire country.
They do use families though in that.
Yeah, so it could be skewed a little, naturally could be skewed a little older, but I would imagine over the years they've found a way to sort of factor that in and hopefully understand, get a very accurate number. Like this is what Nielsen does, and they've been doing it for decades. So I don't know how accurate it is, but I imagine it's fairly accurate.
Well, my family, I know we got a Nielsen, what do you call it? We got a Nielsen thing sent out to us, like the survey. And
cool.
And that, and this was like I think 2019 or 18, and my dad literally walked in. He goes, "Here, you watch stuff more than I do. You just fill it out." And so I just filled out like NASCAR racing, Minnesota Vikings football, The Walking Dead. Like that's back when I liked The Walking. Well, no, I don't think I liked it at that point. Maybe it was further back, but either way, I was writing down like all the shows I watch, and then I like wrote down all the different things about it. Like they go pretty in depth, and it's stuff that for me as someone who loves stats, like I thoroughly enjoy going through all of that. But they're very thorough with that. Now, again, they're not going to say, they will ask actually if people come over and watch. So I'm like, sometimes my grandparents come over with my great grandma, and I'm sure if your grandparents got sent that, they'd be like, oh yeah, my grandson or granddaughter comes over with, the family and we watch it. So They generally like have a range that they go with.
It-
It's
it
why
could-
they're not
yeah.
specific with numbers for the most part.
Yeah.
It could be a little inaccurate because you're relying on people to self-report
Yeah.
effectively.
Mhm.
But no, I think they're pretty thorough. Is
Imagine,
what it sounds like.
Imagine sending one of those like the Duggar family. the 20 kids and whatever.
Yeah.
However many kids it is. It's like that would skew the
God.
numbers a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Isaac with the $2 super chat. You guys should be responsible for marketing. I'm assuming he's talking about marketing for NASCAR. Hey, they send me a check. Send me a check. No,
I'm just we're just the idea guys. We
Yeah.
don't know how to execute any of this. If it was
Yeah.
easy, somebody else would probably
We'll
Yeah.
hand it to smarter people than us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew Mayer with the $2 super chat. Hemrick tried to pull a Vickers and failed. LMAO.
Mhm.
Yeah. Vickers 2006. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Mm.
Eric Eastep with the $5. Oh, Eric, that's right.
Yeah.
You did send a super chat. He says,
I had to put some money in the swear jar.
Sorry for swearing. Stay in school, kids. Yeah, I
Yes,
agree.
I stand by that.
I'm sorry. I just thought that Jimmy Johnson one, or the Brian Vickers one. I thought, no, that was Jimmy Johnson. That was Jimmy Johnson.
To be short. Need for Speed 5353 with these $2 super chat. Swear more, Eric. I dare you. No, we don't need any more of his money.
Oh,
we got enough of it as is.
Oh, shucks.
Oh shit. It's nothing with the $5 super chat. Weekly question. If you could have any 3 commentators from all of NASCAR history to broadcast a race, who would you pick? Ooh, that's tough. That is a good question. That's a great question. Yeah.
I would probably take like Prime Ken Squire. No, maybe Bestwick. For like the
got
lead
mine.
play-by-play. I think
got
I have
mine.
to go Bestwick. Bestwick McReynolds.
If you say the one I'm thinking, you have read my mind.
I don't know. I can't. You say yours.
I got AB, Larry Mack, BP, Benny Parsons. I'll take
Ooh.
I love Benny Parsons, I think, and this is as a Dale Jr. fan, and this is someone who loved Darrell Waltrip growing up. Benny Parsons is my favorite driver commentator ever.
Actually, you know what?
Love his enthusiasm.
I would agree with that because Bestwick and BP, we already kind of have a sample size of them together. I think you just throw Larry Mack into the mix, especially in his prime, and I think that's a solid trio. I would take that.
Yeah. I would take Bestwick, Larry Mack, and how about Dale Earnhardt Jr.? That'd be a very interesting.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd be willing to try it.
I'd go with Jarrett. I like that combination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, great question though. Appreciate it. Aqua Doom with the $10 super chat. NASCAR needs to become more accessible to younger fans and become more transparent on how the sport works and actually invest with a good video game company to make NASCAR games fun again. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the last part.
Ignition was fun watching how bad it could screw up.
That's not the only fun part about it, unfortunately. But yeah, I agree.
Physics.
A video game, NASCAR video game is we definitely need one for sure. Is that Kwame with the 99-cent super chat? Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And then Ross Crash Jane with the $5 super chat. He says it in a meme way. Back in my day, being a starting park was a bad thing. Hashtag free Josh. Oh, I see what you did there. That's funny. Joseph Knuckles with the $5 super chat. If NASCAR wants to grow, go after racing fans that already love racing. Local dirt racing is so big, but most don't watch because of stages in the playoffs. Yep. Upon along with many other things.
I can get the playoffs argument. I cannot understand why people don't like or actively hate. I can understand being like, I don't really like stage racing, but actively like that's why you don't watch.
I'd
like to meet those people. I'd like to meet them.
I'm not the person that wouldn't watch, but like I saw a lot of people talking about where and they talked about with the cautions, but the stages do this a lot too. Is it breaks up the race a lot. So you might start watching it, but if the stage is like 15 or 20 minutes long under caution, some people who aren't really into NASCAR, they're going to flip to something else. And
well, when they do drag them out sometimes, but typically a stage yellow is about the length of a normal caution. It's 5 to 10 minutes. Usually it's not too, I don't feel it's too intrusive, but
I think it's just, it fundamentally changes how
the
race
there was a good
is.
chance there was going to be a caution. Like, I don't know. Like, we basically went from having, 6 or 7 cautions a race to 8 cautions a race. It's like, I don't know. At the end of the day, we start and stop about the same amount of times. I don't know.
I'm trying to see, like, because I won't stop watching, but I'm telling you right now, I do not like stage cautions. I don't like awarding points during races. I know other series do it. I'm just not a fan of it personally, unless it's like small things. But I'm just trying to think of why that too. But
I totally get people not liking it, but even the changes that you just kind of mentioned, I don't see how that would be like the straw that breaks the camel's back. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's
don't
just
know.
after so long, some of these fans would get beaten down. I mean, because you have to think also what led up to stages too. You had the overtime line. You had,
but nobody ever says the caution clock or the overtime line. They say stage racing and playoffs.
I'm saying
playoffs, I get.
That's the stuff that led up. And like, because there was a span from about 2014, I personally would say until Watkins Glen 2018, where NASCAR leadership could just not get it out of its own way for a lot of people's eyes, and made a lot of major changes to how races fun. Like look at NASCAR in 2013 compared to NASCAR in 2018, and I think they're two completely different entities and like series. The way that things are run between formats, the way the races run, the way the lower series are run, the weekends are run, like everything changed like at lightning speed at that time too.
I get that. I guess for me, I see playoffs as fundamentally changing everything about the whole season, and I can understand people not liking that. Stage racing to me, I don't know. I just don't see it.
You still had the long runs with stage before stage racing though, from 2014 to 16, and I think you fundamentally change the season arc, and then you change 38 races basically. You make it like that. I think that's how they see it. Like, I'm just trying to. I think it's a fun thought exercise, honestly.
Yeah,
that's why I want to talk. I'd love to talk to people who hate it and explain and have them explain exactly what they hate about it.
And that is why you super chat, ladies and gentlemen, so you can get in-depth conversations like these. Yes, really appreciate it, Joseph. Thank you. Is that Kwame with another 99-cent super chat, but this time it's an angry emoji. Whoa, what did I do? I didn't do anything, though. I didn't do anything. Hopefully you're not mad at me.
You jinxed someone.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But thank you once again for the 99-cent super chat. Need for Speed 5353 with the $2 super chat. Common Harvick L. Oh, again with the Harvick hate. Don't worry, folks. We are almost done. Just a few more.
Side note, I saw someone say, did you forget to end the poll? We picked AJ, and not quite. That's 34% to 30%.
Yeah, I'll let it run. I'll let it run for a few more minutes. Brock Culpepper with the $5 super chat. What are y'all's opinions on Hocefar's first Xfinity Series start this week? Also, thoughts on Blaney this year, and will anyone be at Dega this year? Let's see. I mean, Hosefar
probably not going to Dega.
Dega's
maybe for Dega. Now, as for Hocefar's first start, very intrigued. Blaine Perkins, unfortunately, he got the axe. I believe it was because of sponsorship and performance, a combination of both. But yeah, Hosefar.
That's all.
Yeah, seat time. That's all important. Yeah,
It's interesting because it's a Ford, I believe, right? And Hosefar has been tied pretty closely to Chevy because he's going to do some stuff with Spire later this year. And I don't know. I thought that part was interesting, but
just get some seat time. Yeah, get some seat time. As for Blaney, I mean, he's shown flashes. It's just again, you got to get over that hump. When is he ever going to get over that hump? Yeah, if not at all. So
just win.
We'll see.
That's that's for me just with Blaney. He needs to win more.
It's as easy as that. Just win.
Yeah, it's easy as I say it right now.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby.
And then Alex left with the $2 super chat. Okay, for real, who would be NASCAR's edge? Who do you think, Danny?
NASCAR's version of edge.
Yeah, you'd be better suited to edge right now.
Yeah, I'm completely out of the loop here, so I'll just go with whatever you say.
Has this green light switched to Chevy? That's what someone's saying in the chat.
Did they switch to Chevy?
And why is Eric Almirola driving in? Isn't he driving us as a green light car this weekend?
I don't know if that's right, but go ahead.
Okay, NASCAR's version of edge. I'm gonna say Ross Chastain because he's gonna look for the opportunity, and he could always turn heel on you any second.
Okay, good answer. Austin with the $5 super chat. I'll speak for myself here when I say personally, I don't see a day where I like what they did to Atlanta. It's not a super speedway. It's a 1.5 miler. Well, yeah, I mean, I understand it. Yeah, the racing purist in me still misses old Atlanta. dearly, and it such a missed opportunity to see the Gen 7 race on it. Definitely, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm looking it up. Apparently, they have an alliance. SS Greenlight has an alliance, I think, with RCR. So the '07 is a Chevy, but they do field the '08 that I think is a Ford.
Huh? When's the
So
last
I'm
time
lost.
that's happened? When's the last time that's happened?
We did see Rick Ware for a little bit would have one car be a Chevy and one car be a Ford.
Yeah.
Robbie Gordon did that a lot.
Yeah.
Like just,
Okay.
but it was like every other week.
You don't see
Yeah,
it as often.
there would
nowadays.
there would be teams like Robbie did and James Finch's team. They would be Dodge one week and Chevy another week.
I just remember last year SHR used SS Greenlight as like their playground for Cole Custer and stuff, and that was I don't know. I think they have a Ford. They must have a Ford that Almirola is driving. That's just confusing.
I just remember Robbie Gordon one year. I went to Michigan, or I don't know if it was in Michigan. I forgot which race. I went to like one race, and Robbie Gordon was like, he was in a Ford. And I went to the next race that I was going to that year, and he was in a Toyota. And then like later he was in a Dodge, and he'd been in a Chevy the year before. I'm like, he just went around the entire world in span of a year.
Don't know what he likes.
Oh gosh, I spelled that wrong twice in the chat. You'll see it. Napa Racing Fan 927. Yeah, Napa Racing Fan 927. Thank you so much for the 2-hour super chat. Who has the best run, Raikkonen, Button, or Taylor? I'm gonna go with Kimmy. I'm gonna go with Kimmy on this
I
one.
think Taylor.
Who do y'all think? Jarrett and Danny.
I said Taylor.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you. My bad.
Taylor for me.
Okay, nice.
And this is why you're in the basement.
And finally, the final super chat of the evening, once again from Napa Racing Fan 927. Thank you so much for the 2-hour super chat. I'm not a fan of Atlanta. Should not have 2 dates. Well, the attendance and will say otherwise. So
the July race will be
for a while.
The July race may be scarce because of the heat, but we'll see.
Well, actually, I'm sorry. We have 2 more super chats. Sorry about that. Didn't update. I see Ryandus with the $3 Canadian super chat. Hot take: Stuart-Haas Racing will be a 3 or 2 car team within the next 5 years. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I could see them downsizing. And finally, Joseph with the $5 super chat. I am 18, love NASCAR. It's hard to talk about the sport because no one else watches my age. I have to talk NASCAR with my grandpa. I want new fans. You sound like us before we met each other, basically.
And don't feel bad about talking to your grandpa. I mean, that's for a long time with me. That's how I grew up watching the sport. And I love like my grandpa's probably not watching right now, but I can say if he is, like, I love watching races with him, and I can't wait to do that more.
Yeah. It's good to hear the perspective of someone who saw it in its heyday too, as well as watching it still today.
I love hearing the different perspectives. So like my grandpa, right? His first driver he was rooting for. I know there's one in our chat that loved this, was Marty Robbins, and then watched all of Dale Earnhardt's career. And I came in during the boom period the way that all of us did in the 2000s, and then like the coolest thing for me is talking to people at the track. And like they're like, oh yeah, I started watching, in 2018, or I started watching during COVID, or I'm new this year, or like I love hearing the different ways people get into things, and like ask somebody who's been watching since the 70s about stage racing in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Ask someone who's been watching since we have about it, and then ask someone who has only known it. And it's so cool to see the different mindsets that everybody has with it. Like it's really cool. I don't think you see that in many other sports, honestly. It's uniquely something to NASCAR.
Absolutely. All right. Last super chat. Hopefully, I promise. Final super chat from Kalito with the 2-hour super chat. Kyle Busch for the COTA win. Yeah, we'll see.
And the pole.
And the pole and the 16.
Oh, it suddenly got close.
Yeah. It got really 2%. Close. Yeah, but the 16.
Oh, it was showing 34, 33 for a second.
The 16 edges out the 48, 99 and 20. Don't even come close. So, yeah, AJ is the chat's pick.
If it was a difference of 1%, I'd say maybe give it another vote, but no.
No, it's all good. It's all set in stone. Well, that'll do it for this edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Join us next week on Wednesday night, March 29th, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time over on the Icebergs channel for the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. We'll be going over all of the COTA weekend as well as the upcoming weekend at Richmond. All right. Well,
I'm just
that'll
letting
do it.
everything run on the bottom, but yeah, I think that about covers it, guys.
Yeah, that about covers it, y'all. Pretty action-packed show, very long show. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. Really appreciate the super chats, of course. But yeah, anything else, boys? Or I think that just about does it, right?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good.
Yes, sir. All right.
See y'all in Austin this week.
Yes, and once again, that'll do it for another edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.
See you in Knoxville.
That's the front line. Go get us a W. Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What the copy? Right foot down. We had to go plan. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. Fix your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Look great. Ridiculous, dude. Holy. You see that? Holy cow. Good job, man. Good job, baby. Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah.
Thumbnail, let's go.